the mask they've spent years perfecting. So what is it about the Sigma that creates this ripple? It's not magic, it's psychology. Sigma males tend to score high in self-reliance and emotional intelligence. They move with purpose, speak only when necessary, and are deeply aware of their surroundings. This quiet assurance disturbs those who rely on loudness and performance to validate their worth. In a world built around pecking orders and attention economies, a man who doesn't care about being seen but still gets seen becomes a silent threat. And when the Sigma leaves, that's when the paranoia starts. People question if he noticed their insecurities, if he saw past their facades, because he probably did. Sigma males are observers, not out of judgment, but out of instinct. They read people, assess dynamics, and carry themselves as if they've already won a game everyone else is still trying to understand. In this video, we're diving deep into 8 unsettling reasons why Sigma males make others uncomfortable without saying a word. So, if you've ever walked into a room and felt eyes on you, not out of admiration, but confusion and quiet fear, you're about to understand why. This isn't just content. This is a reflection of your silent dominance. Let's get into it. Number 1, they don't play by the social rule book. In every social group, there are invisible rules that govern how people behave. Rules no one writes down, but everyone somehow knows. You're expected to laugh when the alpha laughs, agree when the crowd agrees, and follow the energy of the room like a leaf caught in the wind. These rules form the glue of group dynamics, maintaining order and making interactions predictable. But when a Sigma male enters that same environment, things start to shift. He doesn't follow the script, and that alone sends ripples through the social atmosphere. Sigmas don't play the social game, they observe it. While others are jockeying for status, attention, or validation, a Sigma male remains detached, not because he's trying to be rebellious, but because he genuinely doesn't need to compete in the same arena. Psychologically, this behavior is linked to what researchers call introverted assertiveness, a rare mix of quiet confidence and self-reliance. A Sigma doesn't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be heard. In fact, his silence often speaks louder than anyone else's words. What makes this dynamic so unsettling to others is that it disrupts the social hierarchy. Most people are subconsciously wired to seek approval through laughter, flattery, or imitation. It's a form of social bonding rooted in our evolutionary need for tribe acceptance. But the Sigma walks into that same room and doesn't laugh on cue, doesn't nod when everyone else does, and doesn't flinch at awkward silences. He's not cold, he's just in control. That lack of neediness creates tension, because people don't know how to handle someone who isn't seeking their validation. This behavioral independence often translates into social power. When you don't chase approval, you appear stronger. When you don't force conversation or fake smiles, you project authenticity. And when you let everyone else move their pawns while you sit still, strategic, patient, calculating, you become the wild card, the unpredictable element, the one person who can't be easily read or influenced. That freaks people out because most social interactions rely on predictability and feedback. When a Sigma offers neither, the whole system feels like it's short-circuiting. And that's the Sigma's silent advantage. He doesn't just refuse to play the game. He breaks it by refusing to need it. Number 2, they thrive in solitude. You ever notice how society equates solitude with loneliness? Like if you're not constantly surrounded by people, you must be sad or worse, broken. But Sigma males see it differently. For them, solitude isn't something to fear or avoid, it's a sanctuary. It's the space where they recharge, reconnect with themselves, and sharpen their vision. While most people are out chasing approval, attention, or distraction, the Sigma male is embracing the quiet, because that's where real clarity lives. There's a reason why people find this so unsettling. In a world addicted to noise and validation, where notifications, likes, and follower counts define worth, the Sigma's detachment is like a glitch in the matrix. How can someone be so okay without the constant applause of others? The truth is, Sigma males don't need the crowd to feel complete. They find richness in reflection. Studies in psychology even suggest that individuals who are comfortable being alone tend to have higher emotional intelligence and stronger problem-solving abilities. That's not a weakness, it's a rare strength. When a Sigma male is sitting alone in a cafe or walking solo through a park, he's not lonely. He's recharging, he's processing, he's planning his next move. While others may see silence as an uncomfortable void to be filled, Sigmas see it as a weapon, one that helps them observe, adapt, and evolve. In that silence, they study people, they map out patterns, they notice what others miss. This quiet confidence unsettles those who rely on constant engagement to validate their worth. And that's why people ask, how is he so okay being alone? It's because he owns his silence, he commands it. And let's be honest, silence is golden, but it also has power. Power to unnerve, power to speak louder than noise, power to show that being at peace with yourself is the most intimidating trait of all. When a man no longer fears being alone, he becomes truly free. And that kind of freedom, it shakes the world without ever saying a word. Number 3, their confidence comes from within. There's confidence. And then there's Sigma confidence. And make no mistake, the two aren't in the same league. Sigma confidence is not the kind you scream from a rooftop or plaster all over social media. It's not measured by likes, followers, or applause. It's a quiet, unshakable presence. The kind that enters a room and instantly alters the energy without uttering a single word. This isn't bravado. It's not about dominance or seeking validation. It's a deep-rooted self-assurance built on independence, self-awareness, and purpose. Sigmas don't need the spotlight to feel important. They're the spotlight, even when they stand in the shadows. This type of confidence is what unsettles people. In a world driven by external validation, where popularity is currency and self-worth is tied to appearance or performance, someone who simply without effort becomes a mystery and a threat. The guy wearing the loudest outfit, cracking the most jokes, or shouting over everyone in the room may temporarily grab attention. But when a Sigma walks in, calm, composed, and unaffected, people start wondering. Psychologically, this confidence stems from high emotional intelligence and intrinsic motivation. Sigmas are not ruled by the opinions of others. Studies show that those with strong internal motivation and low need for social approval tend to be more resilient, focused, and independent thinkers. That's the Sigma way. They've mastered the art of silence, the strength of solitude, and the power of self-trust. What's even more powerful, the paradox that unfolds. When you stop trying to win over the crowd starts trying to win over you. That's the magnetism of a Sigma male. He doesn't respect, it, not by acting superior, but by being grounded in who he is. And in a world obsessed with noise, that kind of silent strength speaks volumes. So yes, there's confidence, and then there's Sigma confidence. One needs a stage, the other builds empires in silence. Number 4, they're unpredictable by design. You don't reveal your next move, you don't post your life for public consumption, and you don't chase trends. You observe them like a wolf quietly watching the flock. These aren't just cool personality quirks. They're behaviors rooted in something far deeper, the mastery of unpredictability. In a world obsessed with oversharing, broadcasting every meal, emotion, and milestone for likes and validation, your silence speaks volumes. People are unnerved, not because they know what you're about to do, but because they. And that mystery, that's power. Unpredictability is one of the most feared human traits for a reason. Evolutionarily, humans are hardwired to seek patterns. It's how we survive, predicting the weather, anticipating danger, reading social cues. When someone breaks that pattern, it scrambles the brain. It causes discomfort, even anxiety. The military has long recognized this. In fact, unpredictability is a key tactic in warfare known as asymmetric strategy, where you never strike the same way twice, keeping your opponent off balance. The same principle applies socially. When people can't anticipate your actions, they lose the ability to manipulate or control you. This isn't about being secretive just to be cool. It's about maintaining psychological autonomy in a world that tries to map you, track you, label you. Your unpredictability makes people nervous, not because you're dangerous, but because you're free. When you don't follow the crowd, you force people to confront their own conformity. When you withhold your next step, you disrupt the script they've written for you in their heads. That rattles them. In essence, unpredictability breaks the illusion of control. And for many, control equals comfort. So when you exist outside their forecast, when you don't respond the way they expect, when your silence replaces their need for closure, they begin to fear you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because you represent something they can't manage. You are a variable in a world addicted to formulas, and that alone is enough to unsettle the entire room. Number 5, they attract attention without trying. Women, men, dogs, cats, baristas, everyone senses that Sigma aura. It's not something you announce, it's something the Sigma male doesn't chase validation, and that alone shifts the entire atmosphere when he walks into a room. You don't flirt with attention, you ignore it, and that's exactly why it comes running. While most people exhaust themselves trying to be seen, you remain calm, reserved, and unfazed. That mysterious presence doesn't beg for eyes. It commands them. What's at play here is something deeper than just personality. It's behavioral psychology. Studies have shown that humans are naturally intrigued by unpredictability and autonomy. People pay closer attention to those who don't immediately reveal themselves. The Sigma male leverages this without even trying. Your independence, your emotional control, your refusal to play into social hierarchies, all of it triggers curiosity and even admiration. You're the social enigma people can't quite figure out, and that's magnetic. You embody self-contained energy. You're not hungry for connection, though you can easily make one. You're not competing with anyone, though you effortlessly outperform the room in presence alone. It's the way you're fine with or without them. That level of self-sufficiency is rare, and in a world obsessed with constant interaction, it feels like rebellion. You're not the loudest in the room. You don't need to be. You're the quietest one with the loudest impact. Your stillness speaks volumes. Your silence makes people listen harder. There's power in that kind of presence. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't shout. It whispers, and somehow everyone still hears it. People notice the way you sit with composure, the way you observe before you speak, the way you smile like you already know something no one else does. And that's the Sigma difference. While others work to be accepted, you've already accepted yourself. While the world scrambles for belonging, you're too focused on building your own world. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. And that right there is why the world notices, even when you say absolutely nothing. Number 6, they disarm egos without saying a word. Every social circle has that one person, the ego warrior. You know the type, the loudest voice in the room, the one who flexes stories of success, flaunts possessions, dominates conversations, and demands attention like a peacock in full display. They feed off applause, recognition, and validation. And in most cases, it works. People lean in, laugh a little too hard, nod in agreement even when they don't understand a word. It's a carefully constructed performance, and most are too entangled in social games to notice. But then something unexpected happens. A Sigma male enters the room. He doesn't say much. He's not dressed to impress, not looking around for approval, and not laughing at things just to fit in. He's simply present, calm, grounded, and that changes everything. The room shifts. The ego warrior, once the center of attention, suddenly feels exposed, nervous, less certain, because none of his usual tactics work. He's loud, you're unmoved. He brags, you're uninterested. He tries to bait competition, you don't bite. You're not playing his game, and that's the most dangerous move of all. Sigmas disarm egos not with aggression, but with indifference. This isn't passive, it's powerful. Psychology backs this up. Humans crave social feedback, and when someone isn't giving it, when you're immune to social posturing, it triggers discomfort in the person seeking control. That's why silence, observation, and self-containment can be more unsettling than confrontation. It disrupts the feedback loop that egos rely on. Without someone to validate their superiority, the loud ones begin to crumble from within. And here's the kicker: the Sigma doesn't do any of this to prove a point. He's just being himself. That's what makes it so lethal. People with fragile egos need opposition to thrive. They need to win. But how do you win against someone who isn't even playing? You don't. You implode, and that quiet implosion is what causes the entire room to shift in energy. So the next time someone loud suddenly goes quiet when you walk in, know this: your energy spoke louder than their volume ever could. Number 7, they are masters of emotional control. While others blow up, spiral out, or need a crowd to validate their emotions, you stay calm, focused, detached. That calmness isn't just a personality quirk, it's a form of emotional discipline, a mastery of self that's becoming increasingly rare in today's reactionary world. Most people are conditioned to react. They're wired to respond to every slight, every insult, every jab with immediate emotion, anger, frustration, defensiveness. But not you. You've built a fortress within your mind, and while the storm rages around you, your inner world remains unshaken. That kind of control, it's not just admirable, it's intimidating. Psychologically, this kind of detachment is rooted in self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Studies in neuroscience show that people who develop strong prefrontal cortex function, the area of the brain responsible for rational thinking and self-control, tend to regulate their emotions more effectively. They pause, they process, and only then do they respond. This is a mental edge you've honed, whether through experience, introspection, or sheer willpower. You've trained your nervous system not to react impulsively. You've mastered the art of pausing before you speak and thinking before you feel. And that pause, that moment of silence, it unnerves people more than words ever could. That calm, it's psychological kryptonite. It throws manipulators off their game, frustrates emotional bullies, and confuses those who rely on chaos to maintain control. You can't be baited, guilt-tripped, or gaslighted into doubting yourself because your self-perception doesn't depend on external validation. You know who you are. You've done the inner work. You've made peace with your solitude, and that makes you unpredictable and therefore unmanageable in the eyes of those who want control. And nothing, absolutely nothing, scares people more than someone they can't emotionally manipulate. Because when you're unshakable, you're not just calm, you're powerful, you're free, and that freedom is threatening to anyone who's still trapped in the emotional cages they haven't yet realized they built themselves. Number 8, they make people reflect on themselves. Here's the deepest truth. Sigma males make people uncomfortable, not because they're aggressive, loud, or seeking attention, but because they unknowingly force others to confront parts of themselves they'd rather avoid. When a Sigma walks into a room grounded in quiet confidence, completely unbothered by the need for validation, it sends shockwaves through the social fabric. That self-reliance, that authenticity, it's not just admirable, it's confronting. People who have built their identities on approval, popularity, or external achievements suddenly feel exposed. Without uttering a single word, the Sigma becomes a living contrast, a silent reminder of what others have buried beneath layers of performance. He doesn't chase clicks, trends, or flattery, yet he commands attention. Why? Because truth is magnetic and uncomfortable. Psychologically, this is known as self-comparison theory, where people subconsciously measure themselves against others. But unlike admiration that comes with looking up to a celebrity, the Sigma's presence is too real, too raw. He's not selling anything, he's just being. And that being becomes a mirror, not to judge, but to reflect. A man who doesn't fold under peer pressure, who doesn't conform to expectations, highlights just how much everyone else does. It's not his intention to make people squirm, it's just the consequence of authenticity in a world addicted to pretense. That's why Sigma males are both intriguing and unnerving. They don't expose others with words, they do it with presence. And presence, when anchored in truth, is the most revealing force of all. In a world that thrives on noise and validation, Sigma males are feared not because they try to be, but because they exist outside the system. They walk a path few dare to tread, one that doesn't beg for attention or approval. While society praises the loud, the dominant, and the overtly ambitious, the Sigma man quietly rewrites the rules. He doesn't chase followers, he chases growth. He doesn't need hierarchy, he builds his own reality, and that's where his power lies, in self-mastery. True strength isn't about overpowering others, it's about mastering your impulses, your emotions, and your mission. Studies in psychology show that individuals who exhibit high self-discipline and intrinsic motivation tend to outperform their peers, not through aggression, but through consistency and control. The Sigma doesn't just walk away from the crowd, he walks it, unseen yet deeply felt. His silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. His solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity. That's why society fears him, because you can't manipulate what you can't define. So keep building in the shadows, keep rising without the applause. And know this, the world isn't ready for a man who doesn't need it. If this resonates with you, then you already belong to a tribe of strategic minds and silent power. Sigmas, ever wondered what's going on behind those curious eyes watching you? Here's the deal, there are things about you that women notice, but you have absolutely no clue. This is 8 things Sigma males have no idea women notice about them. And trust me, you're going to be stunned by what you're about to discover. Sigmas, I know you're out there, independent, self-reliant, and completely unfazed by what society thinks. You're the lone wolves, the ones who walk a path that most men only dream about. But guess what? Even though you're not paying attention, women are. They see things in you that you might not even see in yourself. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Let's break it down point by point so you can see how your unique presence leaves a trail of intrigue wherever you go. For instance, did you know that your calm confidence is more noticeable than you think? Research shows that nonverbal communication accounts for up to 93% of what people perceive. Your subtle cues, the way you hold eye contact, your calm demeanor, these are things women pick up on instantly. Women also notice your independence and purpose-driven mindset. A 2019 study from the Journal of Social Psychology reveals that people are drawn to those who have a clear sense of self. And let's not forget your mysterious aura. Studies have found that curiosity and intrigue can significantly increase attraction because it sparks the imagination. Your thoughtful silences and genuine presence speak volumes. Even though you're not one to brag, your quiet strength leaves an unforgettable impression. So next time you see those curious eyes on you, remember, you're already making waves without even trying. Let's dive deeper into these 8 powerful traits and explore how they turn you into an enigma that captivates hearts. Point 1, your mysterious aura. All right, Sigmas, let's start with the obvious that you might not even realize your mysterious aura. It's not something you craft or fake, it's just part of your DNA. When you enter a room, even if you don't say a single word, your energy speaks volumes. It's a quiet confidence, a calm certainty that sets you apart. You're not trying to be the loudest or the flashiest. No, your strength lies in your stillness. And believe me, that's exactly what makes women so intrigued. Think about it. While the average guy might be busy showing off or trying to impress, you're the one who stands firm in his own vibe. This kind of presence is a breath of fresh air in a world that often seems overrun with noise. Psychologists call this nonverbal dominance, where your body language speaks even louder than your words. Studies have shown that women often notice subtle cues like posture, facial expressions, and calmness, cues you naturally radiate. Women are drawn to this mystery like a moth to a flame. They see a puzzle, a depth that isn't immediately obvious. Your mysterious aura suggests that there's more beneath the surface, a story they're dying to hear. Evolutionary biology even has a say in this. Mystery triggers curiosity, and curiosity in turn heightens attraction. So your "I'm just minding my own business" demeanor, it's not just a random look, it's a magnet. Here's the real kicker. This aura of mystery isn't something you can fake. It's woven into your character. You're not broadcasting every thought or feeling, and that restraint is powerful. In fact, research from the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that people who hold back a little are perceived as more intriguing and more desirable. So the next time you're just sitting back, observing the chaos around you, remember that you're radiating a quiet magnetism that's hard to resist. Who knew that your natural stillness was basically a siren call, right? You're not out here playing games or putting on a show. You're just being you. Calm, confident, and mysterious. And that's exactly why women can't look away. Keep owning that. It's your superpower. Point 2, your independence. Sigmas, your solo mindset is legendary. While most people are out there constantly seeking validation, liking posts, fishing for compliments, and craving approval, you're perfectly content doing your own thing. No entourage, no hype squad. You're like a one-man wolf pack. And that's rare in a world that thrives on social feedback. But here's the thing you might not notice. Women are watching that independence, and it triggers something deep and primal. It says, this guy doesn't need anyone to complete him, and that's a bold statement, one you don't even need to say out loud. It's felt. Independence signals self-respect, and that's a magnet for attention, especially in a culture that equates self-worth with social validation. Science backs it up too. Studies show that self-reliant individuals are seen as more confident and emotionally stable, qualities that are hardwired into human attraction psychology. Women are biologically programmed to seek partners who project security and self-assurance, traits that come standard with your Sigma mindset. Think about it. In an era when everyone's glued to their phone, your refusal to answer texts instantly isn't just a quirk, it's basically your brand. It says you've got bigger fish to fry than responding to every ping, and that makes you more mysterious, more intriguing. Historically, lone wolves have always fascinated society. From the rugged frontiersman to the modern digital nomad, the idea of the self-sufficient wanderer is romanticized for a reason. It speaks to resilience, to an ability to thrive without external support. But let's be real, this independence isn't just about being cool or aloof. It's about knowing yourself, trusting your path, and not feeling pressured to follow the crowd. And that's liberating in a world that tries to tell you who to be. So, the next time you're chilling alone, remember, you're not missing out. You're building something bigger. Inner strength, authenticity, and yes, a quiet confidence that speaks louder than words ever could. Keep doing your thing, Sigma. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. Point 3, your focus and drive. Sigmas, you're wired differently. While most people are busy chasing trends and social approval, you're out there crafting your own path. Your vision isn't based on what's popular, it's based on what's. This is a key part of the Sigma male archetype, a concept first explored in the early 2010s to describe men who move outside traditional social hierarchies. Instead of seeking validation or external approval, you operate with a quiet confidence that's rooted in self-reliance and inner strength. This kind of focus is magnetic. When people see you working tirelessly towards your vision, it's not just about the project or the paycheck. It's about the energy you bring. That unwavering attention you give to your goals is like a craftsman carving a sculpture, shaping every detail with precision. And guess what? Women notice that. They can't help but wonder, what's he working on that's so captivating? You see, the brain is hardwired to pick up on people who are fully engaged. Studies in psychology and human attraction have shown that passion and purpose are among the most attractive traits someone can display. When you're deeply invested in something, your body language, tone of voice, and even your aura shift. It's not about being flashy, it's about the quiet power of someone who's sure of themselves. Think about it, even your obsession with perfecting your morning coffee ritual, getting the water temperature just right, the grind size dialed in, it's not just a quirky habit, it shows you're deliberate, attentive to detail, and committed to quality. These seemingly small acts are signals of your larger mindset. You don't settle for mediocrity. The Sigma male's life is about aligning actions with values. Whether it's learning a new language, sculpting a business idea, or just refining your craft, it all circles back to purpose. This is rare in a world that's often distracted by trends and noise, and that's why people are drawn to you. Your path is yours alone, and that authenticity resonates far more deeply than any loud brag or flashy display. In the end, it's about the legacy you're building, one deliberate step at a time. Point 4, your calm confidence. Sigmas, let's dive deeper into your calm confidence. It's that quiet yet powerful presence that sets you apart. In a world that's obsessed with noise and attention-seeking behavior, your tranquility is like a magnet. It draws people in without you even trying. Research in psychology shows that calm individuals often exude higher levels of self-assurance and emotional stability. While the world is busy flexing its muscles, you're like the deep ocean, still on the surface but with powerful currents beneath. This is not about being indifferent or detached. It's about self-mastery. You know exactly who you are, and you don't feel the need to prove it. Women especially notice this. In a sea of loud personalities and attention seekers, your calmness is like a breath of fresh air. It's an instant sign of emotional intelligence and maturity. When you stand quietly, seemingly lost in thought, it sends a message. You're in control of yourself and your environment. Studies suggest that this kind of composed demeanor is deeply attractive because it signals strength, reliability, and depth of character. Think of it like a lighthouse in a stormy sea. While others are busy getting tossed around by waves of drama and gossip, you remain steady and unwavering. That's a rare quality that naturally commands respect and admiration. But let's be clear, this calm confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about having a firm foundation, knowing your values and sticking to them. You're not easily swayed by fleeting trends or pointless arguments. Even if someone's debating pineapple on pizza with all the passion of a political debate, you're just quietly enjoying your drink, not because you don't have an opinion, but because you know it's not worth your energy. This is the beauty of the Sigma mindset. You're not here to be the loudest in the room. You're here to be the most grounded. Your calm presence is an oasis in the chaos, a testament to your emotional independence. and that's what makes you unforgettable. So remember, Sigmas, while others chase the spotlight, your calm confidence lights up the entire room without saying a single word. Point 5, your unpredictability. Here's something that really flies under your radar. Your unpredictability. Sigmas, you're not the kind of man who follows a script. One minute you're deep in your thoughts, the next you're out exploring a new place. And that unpredictability, it's like a treasure hunt for women. They notice how you're not stuck in a boring routine. You're spontaneous in ways that keep them guessing, and guessing keeps them hooked. Your unpredictability isn't about being reckless. It's about living in the moment. And that's a vibe women crave. So why does this matter? Psychologists say that unpredictability creates a sense of novelty and excitement, which the human brain is hardwired to crave. When you break the mold, you're sending a subtle message. Life with you is an adventure, not a predictable march from point A to B. This taps into something called the intermittent reward effect. Studies show that when experiences are unpredictable, people's brains produce more dopamine, the feel-good chemical linked to excitement and pleasure. Think of it like a roller coaster. The dips and turns make the ride unforgettable. Your unpredictability works the same way. And it's not just for romantic relationships either. It fuels creativity, keeps you open to new experiences, and shows that you're not afraid of the unknown. In fact, it's a trait that has long been linked to leadership and innovation. Studies in behavioral psychology have found that people who are open to unpredictable scenarios are better at problem solving and adapting to change. For you, Sigma, unpredictability is a natural expression of your independence. You're not stuck following the crowd or chasing validation. You let your curiosity guide you, and that's magnetic. Women see this as a refreshing alternative to the typical guy who's predictable to a fault. It suggests you have depth, complexity, and a willingness to take risks in life. Basically, you're the human version of a plot twist. No one knows what you'll do next, not even you. And in a world that often feels stuck on repeat, that's a quality that stands out like a beacon. So embrace your unpredictability. It's not about playing games, it's about staying true to yourself and letting the excitement of life unfold one spontaneous step at a time. Point 6, your emotional depth. You're not one for drama, but that doesn't mean you're shallow. In fact, research from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships shows that individuals who identify with Sigma male traits often possess a heightened sense of emotional intelligence. Sigmas feel deeply but choose to process those emotions privately. This doesn't make you aloof. It means you're authentic and self-aware. When it comes to relationships, women pick up on this instantly. They notice how you don't just listen to reply, you listen to understand. Your conversations go beyond the surface. Studies suggest that deep listening and empathy can foster stronger connections and trust. That's something Sigma males do naturally, and let's face it, it's not about putting on a show. While others might overshare to impress, you'd rather stay quiet and let your actions speak for you. Your emotional depth is like a hidden well. Calm on the surface, but if someone's willing to dive in, they'll find real strength and vulnerability. It's this rare combination of stoic independence and inner sensitivity that women find magnetic. It's not flashy, but it's genuine and it's powerful. Meanwhile, you're probably thinking, I'm just tired of small talk. Let's be honest, shallow banter isn't your style. That's because you're wired for meaningful connection. A study from the University of Arizona found that deeper conversations boost overall happiness and life satisfaction. And for Sigma males, that's the sweet spot. You're not trying to fill the air with empty words, you're interested in what matters. Sure, you might not spill your soul in the first 5 minutes, but that doesn't mean you're not paying attention. You're observing, learning, and choosing your moments carefully. And while some people might mistake that for distance, women can sense that there's more to you than meets the eye. So embrace that depth. It's not something everyone understands, but that's okay. It's your quiet superpower, the thing that sets you apart and draws others in. Let the world chatter on, you'll be here, holding space for real conversations and real emotions. And for those who see it, that's where the magic happens. Point 7, your untouched spirit. You don't bend to fit in, you're not here to play by anyone else's rules. That authenticity, it's like a superpower. Women notice how you're not here to impress because you're already living in your truth. You're the rare breed who'd rather be alone than fake. And that's pure gold in a world of clones. Sigmas never underestimate how attractive it is to be true to yourself. Your refusal to compromise? That's a testament to your character. Translation: you're basically the guy who won't do a TikTok dance just because everyone else is doing it. Let's dive deeper. In a world driven by social conformity, it's easy to get swept up in trends and expectations. Research by social psychologist Solomon Asch in the 1950s showed just how powerful the pressure to conform can be. His famous line experiment revealed that many people will go along with the crowd even if they know the group is wrong. But Sigma males stand apart. Much like the minority in Asch's experiment who stayed true to their own perception, this authenticity is magnetic because it signals confidence, self-respect, and emotional independence, traits that naturally draw others in. Studies in evolutionary psychology suggest that authenticity and self-assuredness are deeply attractive because they're markers of inner stability and reliability, key traits in any healthy relationship. And here's the entertaining part. While everyone else is busy synchronizing dance moves or mimicking the latest social media challenge, the Sigma male is out there forging his own path. You're not afraid to stand out or stand alone if it means staying real. That's a rare quality in a world dominated by social media algorithms and endless scrolling. Women are hardwired to spot the difference. When you refuse to perform, to put on a mask for the sake of approval, you create a safe space where honesty reigns. Your authenticity resonates because it's rooted in strength, not in the need for external validation. So keep doing you, Sigma. Your refusal to compromise is more than just personal pride. It's a silent anthem of independence that others can't help but respect. Stay authentic, stay unshaken, and watch how that inner power speaks louder than any viral dance ever could. Point 8, your detached but present energy. And finally, Sigmas, your detached yet present energy is a paradox that fascinates women. Psychologists have found that this trait, often called selective engagement, taps into a primal curiosity. You're there, listening, absorbing, but not fully tethered. Your mind always seems to hover above the moment, as if it's scanning for deeper meaning or hidden patterns. Women pick up on this instantly. It's that subtle mystery of someone who's present enough to be attentive, but distant enough to keep their own center of gravity. This balance suggests to them a man who's not desperate for validation, someone whose self-worth isn't tied to the immediate social scene. In social psychology, it's tied to the concept of non-reactive presence. You're not overly eager to impress, and that calm self-possession is incredibly magnetic. It's like you're rooted in the present, yet your thoughts are having a conversation of their own, reaching for something bigger. So when you're at a party, it's not just about mingling, it's about being there, without being owned by the moment. That vibe says, I'm here, but I have my own kingdom to rule later. And that's the elusive, captivating energy that keeps women intrigued and wanting more. So, Sigmas, here's the bottom line. While you're out there doing your thing, living your truth and refusing to follow the crowd, women are noticing every little detail, your mystery, your independence, your calm confidence, your unpredictability. These aren't just quirks. They're reflections of a deeper truth. You're living life on your own terms, and that's magnetic in ways you'll never fully realize. But don't let this get to your head. It's not about trying to impress. It's about continuing to live your purpose, your values, and your journey. That's what makes you a Sigma, and that's what keeps the world and the women curious and captivated. Greetings, Sigmas. A storm doesn't ask for permission, it just shows up, shifts the sky, and rewrites the day. That's you. You are the Sigma male. You don't need volume to make an impact. Your presence does the talking. While the world fights to trend, you walk quietly through the noise, reshaping the energy in the room just by existing. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. Psychologists often label Sigma males as lone wolves, men who operate outside traditional social hierarchies. You're not interested in being the alpha barking orders, nor the beta following the pack. You chart your own course, guided by inner values, not external validation. You observe, you process, you act with intention. While many rush to lead crowds or chase likes, you're mastering yourself. According to studies in behavioral psychology, self-mastery, discipline, emotional control, and introspective thinking is one of the rarest but most powerful traits in leadership and life. They'll misunderstand you. Some will call you distant. But distance isn't detachment, it's focus. Others may think you're cold, but you've simply shed the need for approval. You don't hate people, you dislike pretense. And in a world obsessed with fitting in, your refusal to wear a mask is revolutionary. So if you've ever felt like the world wasn't built for you, maybe it wasn't. You weren't made to blend in. You were born to walk your own path. And sometimes that means walking alone. You don't follow rules, you rewrite them. Let's dive deeper into what makes you a force the world wasn't ready for, but desperately needs. Number 1, the natural command presence. Sigma males don't chase authority, they attract it. It's not a hustle, it's not a campaign, it's an energy. Walk into any room and you might notice one guy leaning against the wall, not saying much, no flash, no noise, yet somehow everyone seems to notice him. He's not commanding attention, he simply owns it. That's the Sigma. His presence is his power. Unlike traditional alpha males who assert authority through dominance, Sigmas operate on a quieter frequency. They don't need to raise their voices or flaunt accomplishments. Their body language is composed, their words are intentional, and their confidence is unshakable. This is backed by psychology. Studies in social dynamics suggest that nonverbal communication, eye contact, posture, calmness, can carry more influence than words. Sigmas intuitively master these. And while many leaders are forged through experience, training, or charisma, Sigmas seem born with leadership in their bones. But here's the twist. Just because they can lead doesn't mean they want to. Why? Because Sigmas value autonomy more than authority. They don't seek control over others. They seek control over themselves. The idea of being in charge, of dealing with politics, groupthink, or managing people's emotions is often a distraction from their true focus, freedom and personal growth. That's what makes them so intriguing. They'll lead when it matters, when their principles are on the line or when chaos needs clarity. But as soon as the job's done, they'll retreat into solitude, recharge, and refocus. In essence, the Sigma male flips the leadership script. He's not climbing the ladder. He's building his own tower. That's why people naturally follow him, not because he demands it, but because he makes you believe there's another way, a better way to move through the world, quietly, confidently, independently, and that's real authority, the kind that finds you, not the kind you chase. Number 2, independence above all else. Sigma males value freedom, the way a lion values the wild, not just as a preference, but as an instinct. You see, in the professional world, leadership often gets tied to titles, suits, and conference calls, but for a Sigma male, that's not leadership. That's bureaucracy with a bow tie. Being in charge the traditional way means navigating endless layers of accountability, internal politics, social expectations, and perhaps worst of all, meetings. Long, circular, soul-sucking meetings. To the Sigma, this feels like captivity. According to behavioral psychology, individuals with high autonomy motivation, like Sigmas, perform better when they can self-direct and innovate without excessive oversight. But instead, many corporate structures box people into rigid hierarchies that stifle creativity and demand conformity. Sigma males didn't invest years mastering skills and building discipline just to become glorified babysitters for underperforming teams or to play nice in corporate popularity contests. Unlike alphas who may chase status and recognition, Sigmas thrive outside of these social games. They lead by example, not by decree. They are lone wolves, not because they can't run with the pack, but because they choose not to. This doesn't mean they're against leadership. On the contrary, many Sigmas are natural leaders, but of a different kind. They lead themselves first. They trust their judgment, walk their own path, and inspire others simply by being unapologetically authentic. And if people choose to follow, great. But Sigmas aren't interested in trading their soul for a title or sacrificing their autonomy for a corner office with a view. They'd rather have freedom, even if it comes without fanfare. That's why so many Sigmas end up as entrepreneurs, freelancers, or creatives, fields where self-direction is not only allowed, but required. In the end, true leadership isn't about power, it's about purpose. And for the Sigma male, that purpose starts with living free, thinking independently, and never ever letting the system tame the lion within. Number 3, the hatred of micromanagement. Let's be honest, most leadership roles can feel like full-time babysitting, meetings about meetings, status updates on status updates, micromanagement dressed up as oversight. For the Sigma male, this isn't leadership, it's prison with a cubicle. A Sigma male operates on a completely different wavelength. He's not drawn to titles or org charts. Traditional leadership, with its top-down chains of command and obsession with authority, suffocates him. He doesn't want to hover over people, and he definitely doesn't want anyone hovering over him. In fact, studies in organizational psychology have shown that autonomy is one of the top predictors of job satisfaction, especially among individuals with introverted or independent traits. Sigma males rank high in autonomy-seeking behavior. They're wired to lead by influence, not imposition, through example, not instruction. This is the guy who builds trust by walking the walk, not barking orders. When people follow him, it's not because of his job title, it's because they respect his actions, his results, and his consistency. It's what psychologists refer to as referent power, leadership earned through admiration and credibility rather than authority. When the system starts demanding control over every detail, constant reporting, rigid procedures, office politics, he checks out. Not because he can't handle it, but because he sees the futility in managing people like they're incapable of thinking for themselves. He believes in empowering, not managing, in inspiring, not instructing. So yeah, herding cats blindfolded? A Sigma might actually prefer that. At least cats don't schedule back-to-back meetings to discuss synergy metrics. In the end, the Sigma male's leadership is quiet but powerful. It's not about commanding attention. It's about earning it through action, integrity, and the freedom to lead without leashes. Number 4, leadership without the ego. Here's the plot twist. Sigmas do lead, often better than alphas. But here's what makes it so unique. They don't lead for status, not for praise, and definitely not for the spotlight. Unlike alphas, who are often loud, commanding, and front and center, Sigmas lead from the shadows. Their style is quiet, deliberate, and deeply effective. Think of it like this. The alpha is the general rallying troops on the front line. The Sigma, he's the strategist drawing up the battle plan in a dimly lit room. And when the dust settles, it's his vision that won the war. Leadership researchers have recognized different leadership styles, such as transformational, servant, and laissez-faire leadership. Sigmas often embody aspects of all three. They lead by example, transformational. They empower others without micromanaging, laissez-faire, and they deeply care about the impact rather than the optics, servant leadership. That's why teams under Sigma-like personalities tend to be more autonomous and motivated. And what's more fascinating? Studies in behavioral psychology have found that people with high emotional intelligence, a key Sigma trait, are better at influencing others without force or authority. They don't demand respect. They earn it by staying calm in chaos, listening more than they speak, and executing more than they promise. Now here's the kicker. When others finally recognize a Sigma's greatness and try to hand him a crown, he steps back. Not because he's shy or afraid, but because he doesn't need it. Wisdom tells him that titles fade, but legacy lasts. Sigmas would rather build something eternal and walk away than stay to collect applause. So while the world is busy watching the loudest leader in the room, the Sigma is already 10 steps ahead, quietly changing the game without ever needing to announce he's the one running it. Now that's leadership, number 5. He sees through the game. The Sigma male is not impressed by titles, ranks, or shiny nameplates on office doors. To him, leadership games, the politics, power struggles, and popularity contests, are just ego-fueled theater, and he sees right through it. While many chase after influence by climbing social hierarchies and engaging in groupthink, the Sigma male walks a different path. He values authenticity over approval. He doesn't join the noise of the boardroom battle or the social ladder scramble because he knows those battles are rarely about true leadership. They're about control, perception, and validation. This isn't just personal preference. Psychology backs it up. Research on social dominance theory shows that while alpha personalities thrive in dominance-oriented environments, lone wolf personalities like Sigmas reject the dominance hierarchy entirely. They don't need to be at the top because they're not playing that game. They derive their sense of purpose internally, not from external validation. Groupthink, a psychological phenomenon first studied by Irving Janis in the 1970s, occurs when people conform to a group to avoid conflict, often at the cost of critical thinking. Sigma males are immune to this trap. They're not afraid to hold an unpopular opinion or stand alone. In fact, they often prefer it. And here's where the twist comes in, because he's not trying to manipulate, climb, or conform. The Sigma male comes across as genuine. That raw authenticity becomes magnetic. People trust him not because he demands it, but because he earns it by being real. He doesn't speak to impress, he speaks with purpose. He doesn't build alliances to gain power. He builds connections based on mutual respect. Ironically, by not trying to lead, he becomes a leader in the purest sense, someone others naturally look to for clarity, direction, and truth. So while the world plays power chess, the Sigma male simply walks off the board, and somehow everyone follows. Number 6. Self-leadership is the foundation. You can't truly lead others without first mastering the art of leading yourself. This fundamental truth is what sets Sigma males apart. They embody self-leadership in its purest form. But what exactly is self-leadership? At its core, self-leadership is the ability to direct your own life with intention, discipline, and purpose. It means taking full responsibility for your emotions, decisions, and actions, instead of blaming external factors. Psychologists refer to this as having an internal locus of control. People with this mindset believe they shape their own destinies rather than being victims of circumstance. Sigma males strongly exemplify this trait. Discipline is a cornerstone of self-leadership, but it's not about rigid control, it's about forming consistent habits that build momentum. Research shows that self-discipline is an even stronger predictor of success than raw intelligence. Sigmas get this. They have a clear vision for their lives and act in alignment with their core values. This clarity fuels natural motivation, making it easier to stay on course. Because of this internal guidance, Sigmas don't seek approval or rely on outside authority. Their internal compass drives them to do what's right, even when no one is watching. This breeds independence and confidence, two key Sigma traits. In short, mastering self-leadership builds resilience, integrity, and self-awareness. It makes external validation unnecessary because you already know your worth. That's why Sigma males lead by example. They inspire, not by demanding control, but by embodying true leadership within themselves. Number 7, the social outsider who influences from the shadows. Sigmas are often misunderstood as outcasts, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Unlike outcasts who are rejected or isolated due to incompatibility, Sigmas consciously choose to operate outside the traditional social hierarchy. They don't belong to the pack, yet they never stray too far from it. This unique position allows them to observe and analyze the social dynamics from an outside perspective without being entangled in the drama or competition that can dominate group interactions. Think of Sigmas as the quiet strategists on the edges of the circle. While the alphas might lead with boldness and the betas support through cooperation, Sigmas listen, absorb, and understand the flow of conversation and power. Their strength lies in their ability to see what others overlook, the hidden motives, subtle cues, and unspoken tensions. When the time is right, Sigmas share their insights. These contributions can dramatically shift the direction of a conversation, a project, or even a movement. It's a form of leadership that doesn't rely on volume or dominance, but on precision and impact. This silent leadership is often the most effective because it's thoughtful, deliberate, and comes with an air of mystery and respect. Psychological research suggests that people who operate this way often have high emotional intelligence and self-awareness. They don't need constant validation from others, which allows them to stay calm and focused, even in chaotic situations. That's why Sigma leadership can be so lethal. It cuts through noise and gets straight to the heart of the matter, influencing outcomes without the need for loud commands or flashy displays. In essence, being a Sigma means mastering the art of strategic detachment, staying close enough to influence but distant enough to maintain independence. It's leadership in its rawest, most powerful form. Number 8, no interest in dominating others. When it comes to social dynamics, people often talk about alphas and betas as if they're the only two kinds of men in the room. The alpha male is portrayed as the dominant leader, the guy who takes charge, commands attention, and thrives in the spotlight. Betas, on the other hand, are often seen as followers, those who comply and support the alpha's lead. But what about the Sigma male? He exists entirely outside this binary, forging his own path and rewriting the rules. Sigmas are unique because they don't crave dominance nor submission. Unlike alphas who may feel the pressure to constantly prove their status, sigmas have an intrinsic self-awareness. They know who they are without needing external validation. This internal certainty lets them operate on their own terms, often under the radar. While others are busy competing for rank and recognition, sigmas focus on building, whether that's personal growth, entrepreneurial empires, or deep, meaningful connections, often unnoticed by the mainstream. This is why sigmas typically disdain traditional leadership roles that feel performative or forced. To them, the idea of being in charge is often about putting on a show to please others or maintain a facade of power. Sigmas don't perform, they simply exist authentically. Their power comes from authenticity and self-reliance, not from barking orders or seeking approval. Psychologically, sigmas exhibit high emotional intelligence and independence, which allows them to disengage from societal pressures to conform. They're often lone wolves, not because they dislike people, but because they value their autonomy. Research into personality archetypes shows that this kind of independence correlates with creativity and innovation, as sigmas can focus deeply without distraction. In essence, sigmas are quietly powerful. They're not loud or boisterous, but effective and self-assured. They lead not by standing in front, but by walking their own path, inviting others to follow if they choose, rather than commanding it. That's why the sigma male's strength lies not in dominance or obedience, but in authentic existence. So, sigmas, if you've ever felt out of place in traditional leadership roles, guess what? You're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not avoiding growth, you're wired differently, strategically, brilliantly. You were born a leader, just not the kind this noisy world understands, and that's okay. Because your leadership doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be real. The world needs less ego-driven authority and more silent strength, more sigmas. Sigmas, if this hit home, if you saw a mirror in these words, then it's time to rise. Subscribe, like, and join this growing tribe of lone wolves rewriting the rules. You don't need a title to lead, you just need the courage to live your truth. And remember, stay true and stay sigma. Sigmas, ever felt like you were wired differently and liked it that way? You're not imagining things. Sigma males are often misunderstood because they operate outside traditional hierarchies. They're lone wolves, but not by accident, by design. What looks weird on the surface is often deeply intentional. Let's break it down. Why do sigma males seem like they're living by an invisible playbook no one else can read? Because they are. They prioritize autonomy, mastery, and purpose over approval. While alpha males lead and betas follow, sigmas rewrite the entire game. Today, we're diving into 8 weird habits all sigma males have and why they work. For example, sigmas often ghost social scenes, not because they're antisocial, but because they guard their energy like gold. Studies in psychology confirm that introverts recharge alone, and sigma males take this to an art form. Another habit? Hyper-observation. While most people talk to be heard, sigmas watch to understand. This habit gives them an almost eerie ability to read a room or sense motives, aligning with high emotional intelligence traits backed by research. Even their weird routines, like midnight walks or solo travel, are actually strategies for creative thinking and personal growth. Neuroscience tells us that solitude boosts problem solving and deep thought. So these aren't just quirks. These are power moves hidden in plain sight. Every habit, every move has a purpose behind it. If you've ever wondered why sigmas walk the path less traveled, now you know it's not just different, it's deliberate. Welcome to the breakdown, sigmas. Let's get weird, but wisely. Number 1, talking to themselves and actually answering back. You might walk past a sigma male and hear him murmuring to himself. No, he's not losing his grip on reality, he's mastering it. Talking to oneself might look odd to the untrained eye, but for sigma males, it's a deliberate tool for mental clarity. This habit, often mistaken for eccentricity, is actually rooted in neuroscience. Studies from institutions like the University of Michigan and Bangor University have shown that self-directed speech, especially when done aloud, can significantly improve focus, memory retention, and problem solving. When sigmas talk to themselves, they're essentially conducting a mental audit. Unlike extroverts who process thoughts by discussing them with others, sigma males turn inward. Their minds are like strategy rooms where self-talk becomes the whiteboard for mapping out ideas, weighing options, and rehearsing crucial conversations. Whether it's figuring out a life choice or preparing for a tough discussion, a Sigma might whisper through scenarios. Playing both sides like a one-man chess game, this behavior is not new. Even Albert Einstein admitted he often talked to himself, claiming it helped him clarify his thoughts. The practice of verbal self-guidance has also been shown to help regulate emotions and enhance self-control, key traits that align with the calm, calculated nature of the Sigma archetype. So while society might label this as weird, Sigma males embrace it as a form of mental discipline. It's the equivalent of mental push-ups, sharpening their inner dialogue to stay aligned with their goals and values. Next time you find yourself deep in conversation with yourself, don't feel awkward. You're not losing your mind, you're tuning into it. You're not overthinking, you're refining your thought process. You're not being odd, you're being Sigma. In a world addicted to external noise, the Sigma male's inner dialogue is a superpower, quiet, intentional, and powerful. Number 2, disappearing for days. No calls, no texts, just ghost mode. Let's break this down and turn it into something both educational and engaging. Ever heard the phrase going ghost? It's not just a pop culture quip, it's practically a Sigma male trademark. While others might see disappearing acts as rude or mysterious, for the Sigma male, vanishing is a deliberate strategy. It's not about avoiding people, it's about returning to center. Sigma males value solitude like a desert values rain, absolutely essential. Psychologically speaking, individuals with high levels of introversion and autonomy, traits often associated with the Sigma archetype, gain energy from solitude rather than social interaction. This is supported by research in personality psychology, particularly the Big Five personality model, where introversion and openness often correlate with a strong need for deep thinking and personal space. So when a Sigma male suddenly dips out of a group chat, skips the weekend get-together, or seems to vanish from social media, it's not drama, it's design. Alone time is when they strategize, recalibrate, and sharpen their goals. They might be journaling, reading, training, or just thinking deeply, building mental muscles that don't grow in noisy rooms. Society often glorifies constant connection, notifications, messages, meetings. But Sigma males rebel against this overstimulation. They prefer to disconnect to reconnect, stepping away so they can show up stronger, clearer, and more aligned with their purpose. And here's what makes it fascinating. Every time a Sigma returns from a self-imposed exile, they bring back something new, a refined idea, renewed motivation, or a sharper sense of self. It's like a mental detox retreat, except it happens without fanfare. So next time a Sigma goes ghost, don't interpret it as coldness. It's actually a sign of self-respect, discipline, and a refusal to lose themselves in the noise of the world. They're not escaping life, they're mastering it from the shadows, because in solitude, they don't just recharge, they evolve. Number 3, obsessing over random skills for no practical reason. One week it's lock-picking. The next, it's Mongolian throat singing. To outsiders, it might look like Sigma males have the attention span of a squirrel in a disco. But in reality, there's a method to the madness. You see, curiosity is the Sigma's internal GPS. They don't chase trends, they chase understanding. Sigmas aren't content with surface-level knowledge. They plunge into the depths of whatever topic catches their interest. And while it might seem like they're collecting a random assortment of skills, they're actually sharpening their mental toolkit. Learning diverse, seemingly unrelated hobbies like lockpicking or throat singing activates different regions of the brain. According to neuroscientists, engaging in varied activities stimulates neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and adapt. In short, these weird hobbies are a form of mental cross-training. Much like athletes diversify their workouts to avoid burnout and strengthen different muscle groups, Sigmas explore different disciplines to boost creativity, cognitive flexibility, and problem-solving skills. It's not about impressing anyone or collecting trophies. Sigma males don't learn to compete, they learn to transform. Whether it's understanding survival knots, diving into ancient philosophy, or exploring obscure art forms, each endeavor adds a unique layer to their perception of the world. This eclectic knowledge base allows them to adapt in unpredictable situations, think outside the box, and connect dots others don't even see. And here's the twist, none of this is accidental. What appears spontaneous is deeply intentional. Sigmas recognize that all knowledge is interconnected. What you learn from singing in the Tuvan steps might somehow influence how you approach business negotiations, leadership, or relationships. So, if you've found yourself spending hours mastering how to start a fire with flint, or decoding the symbolism in ancient hieroglyphs, don't worry, you're not wasting time. You're feeding the beast. You're feeding your curiosity, sharpening your mind, and building a framework of intelligence that's as diverse as it is powerful. For the Sigma, learning isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. Number 4, avoiding small talk, like it's toxic waste. To the Sigma male, small talk isn't just tedious, it's a misallocation of valuable mental bandwidth. When someone brings up the weather for the 10th time, a Sigma doesn't roll his eyes to be rude. He simply checks out because his mind is wired for depth, not distraction. This isn't antisocial behavior, it's intentional energy management. Studies in personality psychology, particularly around introversion and high openness to experience, 2 traits Sigma males often exhibit, suggest that deep thinkers find surface-level chatter mentally exhausting. Why? Because their brains crave substance. They're not interested in rehashing the mundane. They want dialogue that sparks thought, shifts perspective, and reveals truth. A Sigma male might go silent in a group not because he has nothing to say, but because nothing worth saying has been brought up yet. When the topic finally turns to ideas, philosophy, innovation, psychology, purpose, he comes alive. That's his domain. When a Sigma does speak, it's rarely filler. His words are measured, considered, and often surprising. Think of it like a well-crafted espresso shot, small but powerful. There's no rambling, no fluff, just distilled insight. This is why Sigma males are often misunderstood. Their silence is seen as aloofness, but it's actually a filter. They're tuning out the noise to conserve their focus for what matters most. And when they do engage, it's with intention. Their conversations leave impact, not echoes. In essence, talking about the weather for the 10th time feels to a Sigma like eating styrofoam. Pointless, flavorless, and slightly irritating. Give them philosophy, purpose, or even a bit of mystery, and you'll see their minds ignite. So next time a Sigma zones out mid-chit-chat, don't take it personally. He's not being rude, he's just waiting for something real, and when that moment arrives, expect clarity, expect depth, expect fire. Number 5, people watching like they're running a human experiment. Sigmas are often mistaken for being aloof, but the truth is far more fascinating. They're low-key behavioral scientists. Picture one in a quiet corner, sipping coffee, eyes scanning the room. To the average person, it looks like he's people-watching. But what he's actually doing is decoding a hidden world. Sigmas are highly observant. According to psychology, nonverbal communication makes up 60 to 93% of all communication. That means tone, facial expressions, body language, and eye movements matter more than the actual words we speak. And Sigmas, they pick up on all of it. Every twitch of an eyebrow, every hesitation in a sentence, every micro-expression gets logged in their mental database. Why? Because Sigmas crave understanding of people, power dynamics, and social systems. They don't engage for validation. They observe to analyze. They study how people lie, looking for the classic tells like avoiding eye contact or fidgeting. They study how people love, recognizing patterns in body orientation, tone shifts, and even mirror behavior that signal attraction. They even detect leadership traits in group dynamics, like who commands attention without saying much and who overcompensates with loudness. Armed with this knowledge, Sigmas move through the world with surgical precision. They don't just guess, they strategize. It's like they're playing 4D chess in a game where everyone else is still learning the rules. They use these insights to decide who to trust, who to avoid, and when to strike, socially, professionally, and even romantically. What makes it more intriguing is that Sigmas rarely reveal that they've noticed anything. They blend in, staying quiet, letting others underestimate them. Meanwhile, they're building a psychological profile with every interaction. So, while most people are out there trying to be heard, Sigmas are listening. While others are reacting, Sigmas are decoding. And in a world full of noise, that makes them the quietest force in the room and perhaps the most powerful. Number 6, staying unreachable, even with a phone in their pocket. Texted a Sigma? Don't hold your breath. If you're used to instant replies and double texts, buckle up, because Sigma males operate on an entirely different wavelength. These lone wolves don't ghost. They glide in and out of communication with the precision of a submarine on a secret mission. Why? Because they don't chase validation or attention. Sigma males value solitude, introspection, and independence above social norms. Studies in behavioral psychology show that highly introverted and self-actualized individuals often require longer periods of mental recharge. That's not indifference, it's internal maintenance. When you message a Sigma, you're not pinging someone glued to their phone. You're knocking on the door of someone who views their time and focus as currency. And here's the twist. They spend it wisely. Unlike the constant seen and typing culture of modern texting, Sigma males are boundary architects. Every alert is a gate to their attention, and trust me, not everyone gets through. It's not arrogance, it's discipline. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology notes that individuals with a high degree of autonomy tend to filter out distractions and delay responses to stay aligned with their goals. Being constantly available isn't a virtue for a Sigma, it's a vulnerability. So if he doesn't reply in 10 minutes or 10 hours, it's likely because he's investing his mental bandwidth where it counts, on his mission, his growth, or his peace. This behavior isn't toxic, it's strategic. So the next time your phone stays quiet after texting a Sigma, remember, it's not personal, it's principled. He's not ignoring you, he's prioritizing himself. And in a world full of noise, that kind of clarity is rare. In short, if you want a Sigma's attention, earn it. Because access to his world isn't granted by default. It's unlocked by presence, patience, and purpose. Number 7, waking up early for no reason and loving it. 4 a.m. The world sleeps, but the Sigma male is already wide awake, not because of an alarm, not for a meeting, and definitely not for a red-eye flight. He's up because that's when the noise of the world fades and the real work begins. In the early hours before dawn, the mind is at its sharpest. Scientifically, cortisol, the hormone responsible for alertness, is naturally higher in the morning. This gives early risers a cognitive advantage in memory, focus, and decision-making. For Sigma males who thrive in solitude and self-mastery, this is prime time. There are no texts buzzing, no distractions, no social obligations, just silence, a canvas for their creativity. Sigmas use this time to write, plan, strategize, or simply sit in stillness. This isn't just a productivity hack, it's a philosophy. They don't rise early because it's trendy. They rise because it gives them clarity and control over their lives. While others drag themselves out of bed, Sigma males are already 3 steps ahead, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes literally. History backs this up. Thinkers like Benjamin Franklin and writers like Ernest Hemingway were early risers, harnessing the dawn hours for deep, uninterrupted work. To outsiders, it may seem eccentric, but for a Sigma, waking at 4 a.m. isn't weird. It's sacred. It's when vision is clearest, purpose is strongest, and the world is finally quiet enough to hear your own thoughts. That's not just a habit, that's strategy, that's Sigma. Number 8, smiling at chaos. Here, when everyone else is freaking out, crisis hits, people panic. Guess who's chilling? The Sigma male. Why is the Sigma so calm when everyone else is losing their heads? It's because Sigmas have trained themselves to thrive in uncertainty. Unlike the typical alpha or beta male archetypes who may rely heavily on external validation or group dynamics, Sigmas operate from within. They've embraced solitude and silence not out of loneliness, but as a powerful tool to build inner resilience and mental toughness. This calmness in chaos isn't just a personality quirk, it's a survival mechanism backed by psychological principles. Research shows that people who practice mindfulness, self-reflection, and emotional regulation handle stress much better. Sigmas intuitively embody these traits. When a crisis unfolds, their nervous system doesn't spiral into fight or flight panic. Instead, it triggers a focused response, often called the rest and digest mode in neuroscience, which allows clear thinking under pressure. Sigmas don't seek drama, but they don't shy away from it either. When conflict or chaos arises, they don't flee or freeze, they step up as natural leaders. This isn't about loud dominance, but quiet confidence. Think of the Sigma as a calm eye in the storm. While others are distracted by noise and emotion, the Sigma is calculating, observing, and strategizing the best move. Their preference for solitude actually primes them to build mental endurance. Solitude provides space to process experiences, recharge, and develop a deeper understanding of themselves and the world. It's no coincidence that many historical geniuses and leaders, from Nikola Tesla to Albert Einstein, valued solitude as essential to their creativity and problem-solving. In a world that's increasingly chaotic and unpredictable, the Sigma's weird calm is a superpower. It's not passive, it's profoundly powerful. When crisis hits and panic spreads, the Sigma stays cool, focused, and ready, a steady force that transforms chaos into opportunity. Sigmas, those weird habits you have, they're not flaws. They're frameworks built on intentional choices. Psychologically, Sigma males reject societal pressure to conform, choosing instead to live by their own rules. Unlike alpha males who lead crowds or beta males who follow, Sigmas operate independently, often embracing solitude as a space for self-growth and deep thinking. In a world flooded with noise and constant validation seeking, Sigmas prioritize silence over chaos and depth over surface-level connections. This pattern isn't accidental. Studies show that introversion and reflective thinking can boost creativity and emotional intelligence. So when you find yourself tuning out distractions, craving meaningful conversations, or walking your unique path, know you're not alone. You're part of a growing tribe that values quality over quantity. Keep nurturing those habits. The world doesn't just need leaders, it needs silent architects shaping the future. Stay true, stay Sigma. Why do Sigma males trigger people so much, even without saying a single word? The truth might surprise you. What's up, Sigmas? Welcome back to the channel that unpacks the psychology of men who move in silence, but shake entire rooms. Let's talk about that weird tension you feel when you enter a room. You haven't done anything, you haven't even spoken. Yet eyes shift, some people go cold. Others try to compete with you without understanding why. Here's the deal. Sigma males challenge the social blueprint. In a world driven by hierarchy, approval, and conformity, Sigma males break the mold. And that is unsettling. Fact. According to social psychology, humans are wired to read nonverbal cues. When you're silent, composed, and unaffected by social pressure, people don't know how to categorize you. That unknown? It breeds discomfort. People expect loud dominance or submissive friendliness. You give them neither. Instead, you radiate controlled confidence, minimal need for validation, and a calm detachment that reads like mystery, and that mystery is power. Some mistake your quiet as arrogance. Others project their insecurities onto your independence. The truth, you're just not playing their game. And that triggers something primal, because when you don't need them, they start wondering why they ever needed anyone's approval in the first place. So don't shrink. Stay silent, stay grounded, and let your presence do what it always does: disrupt, expose, and inspire. Let's get deeper. Ready for the 8 reasons you trigger people without a word? Let's go. Reason 1, Sigmas. Break the social script, and that makes people uncomfortable. You know the drill. Society loves its labels. Alpha males are the leaders. Beta males are the followers. Everyone's supposed to find a rank and fall in line. But Sigma males, they step off the chart entirely. They're not just breaking the mold, they're ignoring it altogether. Sigmas operate outside the social hierarchy. They don't seek validation, approval, or the limelight. While the alphas are flexing status and the betas are seeking it, Sigmas are quietly walking a different path, one built on autonomy, purpose, and deep self-awareness. And this terrifies people. Why? Because a Sigma male's mere existence is disruptive. He challenges societal programming. Most people are taught to conform, to belong to groups, follow trends, and find their identity in external labels. Sigmas do none of that. They are self-defining, self-sufficient, and self-directed. That level of independence exposes the fragility in other people's sense of identity. Psychologically, this taps into a phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance. The discomfort we feel when we're confronted with a reality that contradicts our beliefs or behavior. When people see a Sigma succeeding without playing the game, it threatens their worldview. It makes them question their own life choices, and that's deeply unsettling. So instead of adapting, many respond with judgment, criticism, or even hostility. This is the essence of why Sigmas are often misunderstood or even disliked. They're not trying to be rebels, they just are. They're not trying to challenge the system, they just live outside of it. But their very presence shines a light on the artificiality of the roles most people feel stuck in. From a sociological perspective, Sigmas represent the archetype of the lone wolf, a figure celebrated in mythology and literature, but often marginalized in reality. They're the Sherlock Holmes, the Batman, the John Wick. Powerful, solitary, mysterious. And let's face it, The world doesn't know what to do with people it can't control or categorize. So yes, Sigmas get hated, not because they're wrong, but because they're rare, and rarity makes people nervous. Reason 2, Sigmas are self-sufficient, which makes others feel dependent and weak. Think about it, Sigmas don't ask for help, they don't crave validation. They handle their business solo. While most people are wired to seek community and affirmation, Sigma males are wired a little differently. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. They don't reject connection, but they certainly don't depend on it to define their worth. In psychology, this self-contained mindset aligns with the concept of internal locus of control, the belief that you control your destiny through your own actions, not external forces or other people. Studies have shown that individuals with a strong internal locus of control tend to be more resilient, motivated, and less prone to anxiety or peer pressure. Now contrast that with the average person constantly refreshing their feed for likes, checking their phone to see if they've been validated by the outside world. That's the difference. Sigmas validate themselves. When someone encounters a Sigma who's walking tall without applause, thriving without cheerleaders, and progressing without guidance, it can trigger deep insecurities. Why? Because the Sigma becomes a mirror, reflecting back what others might lack: independence, clarity, and confidence. It's uncomfortable to be reminded of your own dependency. And instead of taking that discomfort as motivation to grow, some people take the easier path: resentment. They don't hate the Sigma because he's arrogant. They hate him because he's proof that you don't need to follow the herd to succeed. Here's the educational truth. Self-sufficiency is often misinterpreted as arrogance because it breaks social norms. In a world built on tribes, networks, and approval loops, someone who operates beyond that structure can seem like a threat. But in reality, they're just self-actualizing. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization, becoming the most you can be, is the highest level of psychological development. That's where the Sigma operates. And not everyone's ready to confront that truth. Bottom line, self-sufficiency is intimidating to those who rely on others for identity. But for the Sigma, it's just another day being unapologetically themselves. Reason 3, Sigmas speak their truth, brutally honest, often unapologetically. Here's a truth bomb for you. Sigma males don't sugarcoat. They're blunt, direct, and sometimes their honesty stings like a bee on a hot summer day. Unlike most people who prefer softening the truth or dancing around uncomfortable topics, Sigmas cut straight to the chase. They say what they mean and mean what they say. Why is this so fascinating? Because in everyday social settings, people tend to avoid confrontation. Gossip, half-truths, and politeness often take center stage. This helps maintain social harmony and keeps egos intact. But the Sigma male? He's a different breed. His form of transparency doesn't just ruffle feathers, it shakes the whole tree. Psychologically, this honesty can trigger discomfort in others because it shines a spotlight on their own insecurities or self-deceptions. When someone hears an unfiltered truth from a Sigma, it's like looking into a mirror that reflects all their flaws and pretenses. This mirror isn't flattering, and that can be hard to swallow. It's no surprise that people often respond defensively, sometimes with jealousy, anger, or silent contempt. Research in social psychology shows that humans have a natural tendency called cognitive dissonance, which is the mental discomfort experienced when confronted with information that contradicts their beliefs or self-image. Sigmas, by being unapologetically truthful, often trigger this dissonance. People prefer comforting lies over harsh truths. So when a Sigma exposes reality, it challenges their internal narrative. But there's a reason why Sigmas embrace this role. Their blunt honesty is a form of integrity. They value authenticity above popularity or acceptance. They believe that growth and real connection happen when the truth is out in the open, even if it's uncomfortable. This is a powerful trait because it fosters genuine relationships and self-awareness. Of course, being brutally honest can come with social costs. It can isolate Sigmas or make them seem intimidating. But their strength lies in standing firm despite this resistance. The Sigma male understands that truth isn't always popular, but it's always necessary. So next time you encounter a Sigma who calls it like they see it, remember they're not trying to hurt you. They're holding up a mirror to help you see yourself clearly. And that kind of clarity, though tough to face, is a rare and valuable gift. Reason 4. Sigmas are mysterious, and humans fear what they don't understand. The quiet Sigma male, the man who doesn't overshare, doesn't crave the spotlight, and keeps his cards close to his chest, becomes something of an enigma in social settings. This isn't just a personality quirk, it taps into a deep psychological truth about human nature. Humans are wired to feel uneasy around what they don't understand. Psychologists call this ambiguity aversion. When faced with someone mysterious or unpredictable, our brains get a little anxious because we lack the information we need to predict their behavior. The Sigma male's silence and reserved nature only amplify this effect. People naturally want to decode him, to tear apart the mystery, because mystery challenges their need for certainty and control. But here's the fascinating part. This very mystery is a source of incredible power. Historically, people who don't reveal everything about themselves immediately often command more respect and attention. Think of leaders, thinkers, and visionaries who are known not just for what they say, but for the aura of intrigue they carry. The quiet confidence of the Sigma creates a magnetic presence that draws others in, a force field of intrigue and respect. Moreover, in social dynamics, attention is a limited resource. By not chasing attention, the Sigma male paradoxically attracts it, because his restraint signals independence and self-control, qualities that many admire but few truly possess. So Sigmas embrace the enigma. Your silence isn't a void, it's a canvas on which others paint their curiosity. Let them wonder. After all, when you don't give away all your cards, you keep the power in the game. It drives people crazy, and that's exactly the point. Reason 5. Sigmas don't follow the crowd, they blaze their own trails. You've heard it before, don't be a sheep. This simple phrase captures a powerful truth about Sigma males who live by this principle every single day. Unlike those who follow the crowd, Sigmas refuse to jump on fleeting trends or seek validation by doing what everyone else is doing. Their independence runs deep, and it shapes how they navigate life. Psychologically, this behavior ties into the Sigma's strong internal locus of control. They believe they are responsible for their own success and happiness, rather than relying on external approval. This mindset naturally leads them to stand apart, sometimes quite literally standing alone in a world that often values conformity. This independence can be intimidating to others. When people see someone confidently marching to the beat of their own drum, it highlights their own complacency or fear of standing out. It's human nature to feel uneasy when confronted with someone who defies social norms, and that discomfort can translate into sideways glances or even outright dislike. From a social perspective, the Sigma's solitary path challenges the herd mentality. Studies in social psychology show that humans have an innate tendency to conform, known as the Ash conformity experiments demonstrate how powerful peer pressure can be. Sigmas, however, resist this pressure. They prioritize authenticity over acceptance, which can lead to both admiration and alienation. So yes, the Sigma who lives on their own terms can expect to be misunderstood or even disliked by some. But it's precisely this refusal to blend in that makes them stand out, and that's their greatest strength. They are not sheep, they are wolves moving quietly but confidently through the crowd, changing the game by simply being themselves. Reason 6. Sigmas don't need external validation, and that threatens ego-driven people. In today's world, where social media dominates so much of our lives, the constant chase for likes, followers, and validation can feel overwhelming. Everyone seems obsessed with crafting the perfect image online, seeking approval from others as a measure of their self-worth. But Sigma males stand apart from this frenzy. They simply don't care about external validation or social proof. Unlike many who post every detail of their lives online, Sigmas derive their confidence from within. Their self-esteem isn't dependent on the number of likes or comments they receive. Instead, they cultivate a strong inner foundation, a sense of identity and purpose that remains steady regardless of outside opinions. This independence is rooted in psychological concepts like intrinsic motivation, where one's drive comes from personal values and goals, rather than external rewards. This refusal to seek approval can drive others crazy, especially those whose egos thrive on admiration and control. When someone craves admiration, they feel powerful by influencing how others perceive them. But when a Sigma male refuses to play the game, it disrupts that dynamic. The ego-driven individuals feel powerless and often respond with resentment or jealousy. Interestingly, this dynamic reflects broader social psychology findings about group behavior and dominance. People often react negatively when their expected social hierarchies are challenged or when they lose control over social narratives. In short, Sigma's disregard for social validation is not just a personality trait, but a form of quiet rebellion against societal pressures to conform. Their confidence, drawn from within, highlights a profound lesson. True power doesn't come from others' approval, but from knowing and accepting yourself. And that ultimately unsettles those who rely on external validation to feel important. Reason 7. Sigmas radiate calm confidence, a silent power that intimidates. You know the type, calm, cool, collected, completely unshaken by drama or chaos. This kind of calm confidence isn't just about staying quiet or passive, it's a magnetic energy that naturally pulls people in. Psychologically, humans are drawn to calmness because it signals stability and control, qualities we instinctively seek in others. Sigma males embody this quiet power. They don't feel the need to compete for attention or validate themselves through loud displays. Instead, they command respect simply by being themselves, grounded, self-assured, and unbothered by external noise. This silent dominance creates a presence in any room without saying a word. But here's the twist. This magnetic calm can make some people uneasy, especially those who are insecure or used to controlling social dynamics. When a Sigma male steps into a space with effortless confidence, it can unintentionally expose others' vulnerabilities or insecurities. That's why some might react with discomfort or even hostility. This rare form of power, rooted in inner peace and self-mastery, disrupts the usual social drama and competition. It's why Sigma males often stand apart, respected from a distance, admired by many, but sometimes misunderstood or even envied by others. Reason 8. Sigmas are not easily controlled, and that's a nightmare for control freaks. The world is full of people who want to control others, whether bosses, partners, friends, or society itself. Control is a form of influence that shapes how people think, act, or behave, often to fit someone else's agenda or expectations. But Sigma males stand apart because they resist control at all costs. Unlike others who may conform to societal pressures, Sigmas value independence above all else. Think of Sigmas like water flowing around rocks in a stream, always moving, adapting, and finding their own path. This fluidity makes them impossible to trap or force into submission. They don't follow the crowd or bend to fit into predefined roles. Instead, they carve out their own unique place in the world by relying on self-reliance, introspection, and quiet confidence. This fierce independence can unsettle those who want to mold others into their vision of how people should be. Because Sigmas refuse to be puppets, they often get labeled as bad guys or rebels. But in reality, they're just people who choose freedom over control and authenticity over conformity. Their resistance isn't about causing trouble, it's about staying true to themselves, no matter the cost. This is why Sigmas often inspire others, even if misunderstood along the way. So, Sigmas, here's a little truth bomb for you. If people can't stand you, it often means you're hitting on something real. Why? Because by living your authentic life, breaking molds, shaking up comfort zones, and shining bright with your independence and calm confidence, you naturally challenge the status quo. It's human nature to resist change or anything that threatens their comfort bubble. That resistance? It's a sign you're powerful. The Sigma male lifestyle is about refusing to conform just to please others. Instead, it's about carving your own path with purpose and strength. Psychologists note that individuals who exhibit strong self-reliance and independence tend to inspire others, but also provoke envy or discomfort because they represent freedom many secretly desire but fear. So how do you flip this into your advantage? Own your difference. Celebrate that you don't fit into the usual boxes. That's your unique edge. Don't chase approval. Your worth comes from within, not from likes or followers. Be honest but kind. Integrity always commands respect. Keep a little mystery. Not everyone needs to know your whole story, and this fuels your magnetic aura. Stay calm amid chaos. Your peace is your power. And finally, protect your freedom fiercely. Never let anyone clip your wings. Remember, being Sigma is about authentic strength and self-mastery. The discomfort you cause in others, it's a sign you're on the right track. Stay true and keep shining your quiet, powerful light. Imagine this. You're alone, but not lonely. You're immersed in an activity that brings you peace and fulfillment, something the world doesn't quite understand. What is it? For Sigma males, their hobbies often seem unusual to the untrained eye. While most people are busy following trends or trying to fit in, Sigma males march to the beat of their own drum. They aren't interested in fitting into the mold. They're focused on thriving in their own way. And when it comes to their hobbies, they don't follow the crowd. They carve their own path. So what is it about these hobbies that sets Sigma males apart? Well, their interests typically align with their need for solitude, self-reflection, and personal growth. They aren't just killing time, they're feeding their intellect, expanding their skills, or exploring deep parts of their psyche. Whether it's mastering a craft, studying philosophy, or immersing themselves in nature, Sigma males prefer activities that challenge their mind, body, and spirit. These hobbies are a reflection of their independent nature. Sigma males thrive when they can engage in something that fuels their desire for introspection and growth. It's not about impressing others, it's about fulfilling a personal need to understand themselves and the world around them better. Are you curious to uncover some of the rare and surprising hobbies that Sigma males enjoy? Let's dive into the world of unconventional pastimes that truly fuel their spirit. Number 1. Gardening, the art of cultivating peace. Gardening for a Sigma male is far more than just planting a few flowers or adding decorative plants to the house. For a Sigma, gardening is a form of meditation, an opportunity to connect deeply with the earth. It's about taking something from seed or start and nurturing it until it flourishes. This process reflects the Sigma male's mindset, patient, solitary, and reflective. While others may garden to show off or to beautify their space, the Sigma male finds peace in the quiet rhythm of tending to plants. It's a solitary practice that encourages mindfulness and personal growth. There's something deeply satisfying about watching something grow under your care, especially when it's the result of your own hands and attention. Whether it's growing vegetables, herbs, or even succulents, the process demands patience and precision, qualities that align with the Sigma's preferred way of life. For those thinking of embracing this form of inner practice, gardening offers tangible rewards, like the sense of pride when your tomatoes, peppers, or herbs flourish. And even though some might dismiss certain plants like cacti as easy or fake, the Sigma knows that it's not about impressing others. It's about the fulfillment of self-sufficiency and the joy of watching something thrive, which is what truly matters to the Sigma male. Number 2, astronomy, the search for something bigger. When was the last time you truly looked up at the sky, not just glanced, but really taken in the vastness above you? Sigma males often find solace in the stars. They have a unique ability to find peace in solitude, and the sky provides them with an open canvas for reflection. Astronomy, the study of celestial objects and phenomena, allows them to connect with something much larger than themselves, reminding them of their place in the universe. For Sigma males, looking at the stars is not about impressing others or showcasing knowledge of constellations. It's about gaining perspective. The stars are a constant reminder of the infinite, of how small our individual struggles are in the grand scheme of things. This sense of insignificance can actually bring comfort. It allows them to step back from the noise of everyday life and put their challenges into context. It's an opportunity to reflect on the bigger picture, life's mysteries, purpose, and the unknown. Astronomy provides mental space for introspection. Sigma males appreciate this mental freedom to be alone in their thoughts, to process their emotions, and to find clarity. It's a grounding experience. By contemplating the stars, they connect not only with the universe, but also with themselves, seeking both solitude and understanding in the process. In a world that often demands attention, this quiet contemplation becomes a powerful form of self-care and personal growth. Number 3, archery, focus and precision. Archery, much like other activities Sigma males often choose, requires a unique blend of focus and discipline. It's not just about shooting arrows, it's about honing a skill that demands patience, precision, and mindfulness. Sigma males, who are known for their independent and introspective nature, thrive in environments that require self-control and complete immersion in the present moment. Archery offers just that, an opportunity to block out distractions, enter a state of flow, and concentrate entirely on the task at hand. Each shot in archery is a test of inner discipline. As the arrow flies toward its target, it's not just the physical technique that's at play, but the mental clarity that comes with mastering oneself. Sigma males appreciate activities that offer an escape from the noise of the world, and archery allows them to fully immerse themselves in the experience, controlling every movement and releasing every arrow with intention and focus. And let's be honest, who doesn't want to feel like an ancient warrior every now and then? The act of drawing a bowstring and releasing an arrow can make anyone feel like they've stepped into a legendary story. Bonus points if you add some flair by speaking in an epic voice and imagining yourself as a medieval knight on a quest. Archery is not just about the skill, it's about embracing a moment of pure focus and connection to one's inner strength. Number 4, reading philosophy, feeding the mind. Sigma males don't just read for knowledge, they read to explore the deeper questions of life, existence, and purpose. Philosophy, in particular, is a key area of interest for them, as it offers a way to understand the world without binding themselves to a single point of view. Instead of searching for a definitive right answer, Sigma males value the process of critical thinking and intellectual exploration. Reading philosophy challenges them to question the status quo, examine the nature of reality, and engage with complex ideas that aren't always easily understood. By diving into works by philosophers like Nietzsche, Camus, or Kierkegaard, Sigma males refine their worldview, developing a unique perspective on life that isn't shaped by trends or popular opinion. These readings aren't about quick fixes or self-help solutions. They're about uncovering the complexities of human experience and expanding their understanding of the world. So, when your friends wonder why you're reading Nietzsche instead of the latest self-help bestseller, you can always joke that you're just working on your deep, brooding vibe. But in reality, you're engaging in a lifelong journey of self-reflection and intellectual growth. Sigma males see reading as a tool for personal evolution, not just entertainment. And this mindset often leads them to a profound understanding of themselves and the world around them, setting them apart from the crowd. Number 5. Learning a new language, expanding horizons. Sigma males are constantly seeking personal growth and self-improvement, and one of the most rewarding ways they do this is by learning a new language. Not only does learning a new language provide the opportunity to connect with different cultures, but it also offers a mental workout that challenges the brain and sharpens cognitive skills. For a Sigma male, it's not just about speaking a new language, it's about expanding their worldview and understanding the nuances of different societies. Learning a new language activates parts of the brain responsible for memory, problem-solving, and multitasking. This intellectual pursuit enhances mental flexibility, which allows Sigma males to adapt to new environments and challenges more easily. Whether it's mastering French, exploring the beauty of Japanese, or diving into the intricacies of ancient Greek, Sigma males embrace the process as a way to evolve intellectually and creatively. Furthermore, learning a language forces them to think in new ways, breaking old patterns of thought and encouraging them to see the world through a different lens. This journey is never just about acquiring a skill, it's about constant self-improvement and pushing the boundaries of their own capabilities. For Sigma males, the ability to understand and appreciate other cultures through language is a valuable skill that helps them grow, both personally and intellectually. 1. Journaling, exploring the inner world. Journaling is more than just recording daily events, it's a powerful tool for self-reflection and personal growth. For Sigma males, it serves as a way to process emotions, analyze experiences, and refine their inner world. By reflecting on their thoughts and actions, Sigma males can identify patterns, learn from past decisions, and adjust their mindset for better outcomes in the future. It's like having a personal blueprint for self-evolution, where each entry provides clarity and insight into who they are and how they are progressing. This practice of introspection allows Sigma males to think critically about their behaviors, reactions, and emotional triggers. Through journaling, they uncover hidden motivations and thoughts, which ultimately helps them make more conscious choices moving forward. It also provides a space for gratitude, mindfulness, and setting goals, all of which contribute to a deeper sense of purpose and alignment with their values. Moreover, there's something undeniably satisfying about writing by hand in a leather-bound journal. The tactile experience of pen on paper creates a unique sense of connection to the process, something that typing on a phone or computer can't replicate. This ritual of journaling can become a deeply personal act, enhancing the Sigma male's sense of control and independence, while fostering a deeper connection to his own thoughts and ambitions. Number 7. Woodworking. Building with your own hands. Woodworking is an art that demands patience, precision, and creativity, traits that align perfectly with the Sigma male mindset. For Sigma males, it's not about creating for the sake of it, it's about crafting something meaningful and enduring. From designing a custom bookshelf to carving intricate furniture pieces, woodworking allows them to produce work that lasts, providing a tangible result of their skills and vision. This hands-on craft offers more than just a finished product. It provides a meditative escape from the chaos of the world, making it a deeply therapeutic activity. The focus required to measure, cut, and assemble each piece fosters mindfulness, and the process of seeing raw materials transform into functional art can be incredibly satisfying. Furthermore, woodworking gives Sigma males a unique opportunity to express their creativity. The freedom to customize designs, choose materials, and experiment with techniques allows them to create one-of-a-kind pieces that reflect their personal style and values. This type of independent craftsmanship resonates with the Sigma's desire for self-reliance and mastery. The sense of accomplishment that comes from completing a woodworking project is not just about the object itself, but the personal growth involved in mastering the craft. The time spent on each detail, the problem-solving, and the creative decisions all contribute to a lasting sense of pride. For a Sigma male, woodworking is more than a hobby. It's a way to connect with their inner drive for excellence and creativity. Number 8, playing a solo instrument, mastering the art of self-expression. Solo instruments like the piano, guitar, or violin are often the top choice for Sigma males who want to express themselves privately without the need for an audience. It's not about performing for others, it's about channeling emotions through music in a deeply personal way. For Sigma males, music becomes a powerful tool for self-expression, enabling them to communicate feelings and thoughts that words alone often can't capture. When a Sigma male picks up an instrument, it's not about seeking validation or attention. It's a form of introspection. Playing music allows them to explore their inner world, to reflect, and to process emotions in a way that few other activities can match. Whether it's through the haunting notes of a violin or the rhythmic strumming of a guitar, each chord played or note struck becomes a piece of their emotional journey. Additionally, playing an instrument requires discipline, patience, and commitment to mastering a craft. This process aligns perfectly with the Sigma male's natural inclination for self-reliance and personal growth. However, like most Sigma males, after hours of practice, they may dismiss their efforts with a humble shrug, saying, "Nah, I'm not that good, just something I do in my free time." The beauty lies in the fact that for them, it's not about perfection. It's about the experience and the personal connection to the music. Number 9, martial arts, discipline and inner strength. Martial arts go far beyond just physical combat. They are about self-mastery and personal growth. For Sigma males, martial arts offer a unique path to strengthen not only the body, but also the mind and emotions. This discipline is more than just learning techniques to defend oneself. It's about pushing boundaries, refining inner resilience, and achieving control over every aspect of life. Take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for example. It's not just about grappling and submissions. It teaches adaptability, strategy, and patience. It forces practitioners to think ahead, anticipate moves, and remain calm under pressure. Sigma males thrive in environments that challenge their mental agility, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does exactly that. It's a reminder that strength doesn't always come from brute force. It often comes from wisdom, timing, and flexibility. Muay Thai, known as the art of 8 limbs, teaches resilience and endurance. It's not just about throwing punches and kicks, it's about developing an unshakable mindset, controlling one's energy, and withstanding hardship. For Sigma males, this martial art embodies their relentless pursuit of mastery over their emotions, channeling inner strength even during challenging times. Taekwondo emphasizes discipline and focus. With its fast kicks and high-energy movements, it cultivates balance, precision, and clarity of mind. These are qualities Sigma males often embody as they strive for clarity in their decisions, their goals, and their daily lives. In the dojo, the martial artist isn't just a fighter, they are a student of themselves. It's a sanctuary where Sigma males can disconnect from external distractions and work on becoming the best version of themselves, both physically and mentally. Through martial arts, they learn to be grounded, disciplined, and in control, no matter the storm that surrounds them. Number 10. Cooking, mastering the art of creation. For Sigma males, cooking is more than just a task, it's an art form. It's about taking raw ingredients and transforming them into something unique, showcasing both creativity and precision. Whether they're perfecting a gourmet dish or learning the secret to the perfect steak, Sigma males thrive on mastering new techniques and challenging themselves in the kitchen. Cooking offers a space where they can blend structure with freedom, developing skills that fuel both the body and the mind. What's more, cooking at home allows them to impress others with their culinary talents. The ability to whip up a 5-course meal from scratch not only demonstrates skill, but also a sense of independence and self-sufficiency. This practical yet impressive ability aligns with the Sigma male's desire to stand out and make an impact, all while maintaining their calm, cool, and collected demeanor. Number 11. Minimalism, living with intention. Minimalism is more than just clearing out clutter. It's a lifestyle rooted in intentionality. Sigma males, known for their independent and introspective nature, are naturally drawn to this way of living. For them, minimalism is not about deprivation, but about creating a life that's more focused and fulfilling. By eliminating excess, they free up both physical and mental space, which enhances clarity and allows for personal growth. Unlike others who may be driven by the desire to accumulate wealth or possessions, Sigma males prioritize what adds true value to their lives. They view materialism as a distraction, something that takes away from their deeper goals and aspirations. Minimalism helps them stay grounded, maintain mental peace, and focus on their core values like self-reliance, creativity, and self-improvement. This intentional way of living also allows them to create an environment conducive to productivity and introspection. With fewer distractions, they have more room to think critically, make thoughtful decisions, and pursue personal and professional growth without unnecessary noise. For Sigma males, minimalism isn't a trend, it's a way to live with purpose and align their external world with their internal desires. So there you have it, 11 uncommon hobbies only Sigma males secretly enjoy. These hobbies are more than just activities. They're reflections of a lifestyle, a mindset, and a desire for growth, independence, and self-mastery. If you've resonated with any of these, it's a sign that you too might be ready to embrace the Sigma way of life. Sigmas, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with other like-minded individuals. Join the Sigma community and start applying these qualities to your life for a more impactful and fulfilling journey. Stay true and stay Sigma. Sigmas, ever felt so confident it scared people off? But what happens when that confidence, the core of your power, crosses a line? There's a razor-thin edge between being impressively confident and coming off like an arrogant lone wolf no one wants around. Welcome to today's deep dive. When Sigma male confidence turns into arrogance, we'll explore how this shift happens, why it matters, and how to stay rooted in authentic power. Confidence is knowing your worth without the need for approval. It's what draws people to you. But arrogance, that's believing your worth makes others lesser. It's subtle, but dangerous. Studies in social psychology show that excessive self-regard often leads to poor decision-making, damaged relationships, and even social isolation. So where does the slip begin? It often starts when solitude turns into superiority. Sigma males thrive in independence, but when they begin to see others as distractions or inferiors, that's when the ego takes the wheel. Instead of quietly leading by example, they start making silence feel like judgment and detachment feel like disdain. Why does this matter? Because arrogance repels what confidence attracts. Opportunities dry up. people stop listening. You stop growing. The strength of the Sigma isn't in being above others, it's in mastering the self. So stay grounded. Confidence whispers, arrogance shouts. One builds empires, the other stands alone in ruins. Remember, the world doesn't need another arrogant man. It needs the quiet storm, a Sigma who knows his power and uses it wisely. Let's get into it. Point 1, the confidence-arrogance spectrum. Let's clear the air right away, Sigmas. Confidence is quiet. Arrogance is loud. Confidence walks in and doesn't need to say a word. Arrogance kicks the door open just to hear its own name echo back. Let's break this down. Confidence is built on a solid foundation of self-awareness and earned experience. Studies in psychology, including those by Dr. Albert Bandura, show that true confidence stems from a person's belief in their own competence based on real accomplishments, not wishful thinking. Sigma males operate from this zone. You know your strengths, your limits, and your worth. You've done the inner work, so you don't feel the need to prove anything. Now, arrogance, that's a fragile mask. It's loud because it's scared of silence. It demands attention because it's afraid of being ignored. It's what happens when ego overrides humility. And here's the kicker. While confidence draws people in, arrogance pushes them away. Confident people uplift a room. Arrogant people dominate it. Sigma males don't thrive on applause. They thrive on purpose. You didn't walk this lone wolf path just to impress people. You did it to live on your own terms. That's freedom. That's power. So the next time you walk into a room, don't chase attention. Let your presence speak for itself. People respect the man who doesn't need to shout. They gravitate toward the one who simply. In a world that's addicted to noise, your silence is your superpower. Let it echo louder than arrogance ever could. Point 2, isolation versus superiority complex. Sigmas enjoy solitude. That's our sanctuary. It's where we recalibrate, reflect, and recharge. But here's the truth bomb. Solitude, when left unchecked, can turn into a trap. The danger, when alone time mutates into a superiority complex. You've probably heard the voice creep in, I'm better off alone because I'm better than everyone else. That's not confidence, that's arrogance in disguise. Let's break it down. Psychologically, solitude has immense benefits. It boosts creativity, enhances emotional regulation, and improves productivity. Studies show that people who intentionally spend time alone are often more self-aware and goal-driven. That's Sigma energy right there. But the line between healthy independence and toxic disconnection is razor thin. Confidence says, I walk alone by choice. That's strength, clarity, and purpose. Arrogance whispers, no one else deserves to walk beside me. That's pride camouflaged as independence. One empowers, the other isolates. Here's the truth, just because you don't fit in doesn't mean others are beneath you. You're different, not superior. Thinking otherwise creates a mental echo chamber where no new perspective gets in and no personal growth comes out. Solitude is meant to be your battery charger, not your ivory tower. Being unreachable doesn't mean being untouchable. Real Sigmas know how to value connection while maintaining their independence. We don't need the crowd, but we respect it. We can walk alone without looking down on those walking in groups. So use your solitude wisely. Reflect, strategize, build. But don't let it convince you you're above everyone. That's not strength. That's self-sabotage wearing a mask. Stay sharp, stay grounded, stay Sigma. Point 3, when boundaries become barriers. Sigmas are masters of setting boundaries, real boundaries, not the fake kind that people talk about but never enforce. A Sigma male understands the value of his time, energy, and emotional space, and he defends them like sacred ground. Saying no isn't rude to him, it's necessary. He knows his worth and doesn't owe anyone access to his life just because they want it. That's strength. That's clarity. But here's where it gets tricky. Boundaries, when taken too far, can become walls. Not the kind that protect, but the kind that imprison. You start cutting people off, not because they've violated your peace, but because letting them in would mean showing your human side, your fears, your hopes, your flaws. Vulnerability starts to feel like a risk you can't afford. So you retreat, isolate, and call it self-respect. But there's a fine line. According to psychological studies, healthy boundaries are linked with self-esteem, emotional intelligence, and better relationships. On the other hand, emotional walls often stem from trauma, fear of rejection, or unresolved pride. Confidence says, this is what I need to be at peace. Arrogance says, no one deserves access to me. So ask yourself, are you setting boundaries out of clarity or fear? Are you guarding peace or guarding ego? Being a Sigma isn't about being unreachable, it's about being intentional. It's knowing when to say no and when to say, I'll let you in, but on my terms. That's power, that's growth. True strength isn't about avoiding connection. It's about choosing it wisely. And if you're just using your independence to hide behind pride, then maybe it's time to reassess what you're really protecting. Because being strong doesn't mean being alone. It means knowing when to open the gate and when to keep it shut. Point 4. Silent confidence versus silent condescension. Sigmas are not loudmouths. That's not our lane. We don't shout to be heard and we don't perform just to prove a point. Our silence is part of our strength. But here's the twist. Silence is a double-edged sword. Used wisely, it commands respect. Used carelessly, it can send the wrong message. There's a fine line between power and pride. Let's break it down. Psychologists have found that silence can signal confidence. In a world where everyone's scrambling to be noticed, a calm presence stands out. People tend to lean in when a person of few words finally speaks. That's the strength of a true Sigma, measured intentional communication. But silence can also be misread. If your quietness starts to feel cold, distant, or dismissive, it's no longer commanding, it's condescending. And here's the danger zone. When your energy gives off the vibe that others aren't worth your time or words, you're not embodying Sigma energy. You're stepping into arrogance. Being a Sigma isn't about being better than others, it's about being better than your former self. True strength doesn't need to belittle. The goal isn't to be silent to elevate yourself. It's to be silent because you're grounded, focused, and wise enough to know when to speak. So next time you choose silence, ask yourself, am I being still out of power or out of pride? Let your silence feel like peace, not punishment. That's the Sigma way. Point 5, self-reliance versus refusal to accept help. Self-reliance is one of the defining traits of the Sigma male. You don't wait for permission or expect rescue. You roll up your sleeves, face the storm, and build your own ladder to climb out. It's admirable and rare. In fact, studies in psychological resilience show that individuals who rely on internal motivation and initiative are more likely to overcome adversity and lead purpose-driven lives. But like all strengths, self-reliance has a shadow side. When you begin to see asking for help as a weakness or view collaboration as compromise, you've crossed into dangerous territory. That's no longer independence, it's isolation in disguise. Arrogance has a subtle voice. It tells you no one can help me because no one is on my level. It flatters the ego while cutting off access to wisdom, growth, and support. This mindset doesn't make you stronger. It just builds walls around your potential. Remember, even apex predators hunt in packs when needed. The lone wolf is powerful, but the pack survives longer. The idea that accepting help is weakness is a myth rooted in pride. In reality, it takes more courage to admit you need support than to pretend you don't. Psychologist Abraham Maslow, known for Maslow's hierarchy of needs, emphasized that self-actualization includes not just independence, but also meaningful relationships and community. True growth comes from knowing when to walk alone and when to walk together. Collaboration doesn't dilute your strength, it refines it. Real confidence isn't threatened by help, it welcomes it, filters it, and uses it as fuel. So stay self-reliant, but don't let your pride keep you from rising higher with others. The strongest men aren't those who never fall. They're the ones who rise and allow others to lift them when necessary. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Point 6, detachment versus disregard. Emotional detachment is your armor. It shields you from chaos, keeps your mind sharp in conflict, and allows you to observe rather than react. In psychology, this is often referred to as emotional regulation, a skill linked to high emotional intelligence. It's the ability to stay calm when others lose their cool, to analyze rather than absorb. But there's a fine line. Unchecked detachment turns into cold indifference. That's when the armor becomes a wall. Instead of protecting your peace, it blocks connection. Neuroscience shows that humans are wired for empathy. When you shut that off entirely, people sense it. They stop seeing you as balanced and start seeing you as disconnected, even robotic. Confidence, on the other hand, is the sweet spot. It allows you to feel emotion without being consumed by it. Confident people acknowledge feelings, manage them, and express them in a grounded way. Arrogance, however, is a mask. It pretends emotions don't matter at all. That's not strength, that's insecurity wrapped in pride. The difference is subtle but powerful. Not being ruled by emotions means you're in control, but not caring at all, that's just emotional laziness. If your vibe screams too cool to care, you're not impressing anyone. You're radiating ego, not strength. People don't feel safe around someone who doesn't feel. They feel dismissed. So wield your emotional detachment like a tool, not a sword. Be calm, not cold. Be thoughtful, not detached. True power isn't about shutting off emotions. It's about mastering them, using them wisely, and showing others you're strong enough to care, even when it's uncomfortable. Point 7, respect for self versus disrespect for others. There's a quiet power in being confident without being condescending. A Sigma male is often admired not because he shouts the loudest, but because he doesn't need to. He's rooted in self-awareness, purpose, and independence. He can love solitude, chase goals, and stay grounded in his own rhythm without feeling the need to belittle others walking a different path. But here's where many go wrong. They confuse confidence with superiority. The moment you start mocking someone's choices, lifestyle, or values, especially when they differ from your own, you've crossed into arrogance. It's subtle at first, the smirk when someone says they want a 9-to-5 job, or the eye roll when they talk about marriage and routine. But these micro-judgments reveal insecurity, not strength. True confidence doesn't need to compete. Sigma males don't chase clout or dominance. We walk alone because our fulfillment doesn't depend on approval or comparison. We're not out here trying to win against anyone. We're simply mastering ourselves. Science backs this up. Studies in emotional intelligence show that individuals with high self-respect tend to exhibit humility and empathy. They understand that their worth isn't determined by how others live. Respecting different perspectives is a sign of emotional maturity and a marker of real leadership. So if you're truly confident, let it show in how you carry yourself, not in how you tear others down. Keep your peace. Let others walk their road. There's no need to announce that you're different. You are. Let it speak for itself. Remember, self-respect should never come at the cost of respect for others. Confidence lifts you. Arrogance lowers the whole room. Point 8, Stoicism versus emotional shutdown. Sigmas have emotional control. That's part of our mystique. But let's be clear. Emotional control is not emotional suppression. There's a big difference. Suppressing your emotions doesn't make you strong. It makes you a ticking time bomb. True confidence means processing your pain, not pretending it doesn't exist. Arrogance says, I don't care. Confidence says, I care, but I'm not going to let it break me. Emotional intelligence, a key trait of Sigma males, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage both your own emotions and those of others. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that individuals with high emotional intelligence tend to be more successful in leadership, relationships, and mental health. Why? Because they process what they feel instead of ignoring it. Sigmas don't wear their hearts on their sleeves, and that's okay. But don't confuse stoicism with emotional numbness. You're human. You feel pain, disappointment, joy, heartbreak, and hope. Denying that doesn't make you untouchable. It makes you disconnected from your own humanity. Arrogance tries to erase the soft, vulnerable parts of you, but those parts, they're essential for growth. Strength isn't about pretending you're invincible. It's about knowing when to retreat, reflect, and rise. You don't have to show the world your tears, but you must show them to yourself. Reflect in silence, heal in solitude, grow in wisdom, feel, reflect, grow. That's what a Sigma does, not because we're weak, but because we're wise. Point 9, authenticity versus self-image management. Sigma confidence is rooted in being raw and real. It's not about flashy displays or trying to impress anyone. It's about being authentic, grounded, and unapologetically yourself. True Sigma males don't chase approval or curate their every move to fit an image. They walk their own path, even if it looks strange to others. But the moment you start crafting your persona just to maintain the mysterious lone wolf vibe, you've traded confidence for performance. That's not self-assurance, it's brand management. Confidence isn't about being untouchable or aloof. It's about being so secure in who you are that you don't need to put on a show. Arrogance, on the other hand, is obsessed with image. It thrives on validation, power plays, and ego. Confidence is quiet. It doesn't seek attention. It commands it through presence and integrity. Science backs this up too. A study in the found that authentic self-expression leads to higher self-esteem and better relationships. So don't fall for your own hype, Sigmas. The moment you start pretending to be real, you've already lost the plot. Stay weird, stay grounded, stay real. That's where your true power lies. Point 10, leadership versus control freak behavior. Sigma males are naturally followed because their confidence speaks volumes without needing to shout. True confidence isn't about asserting dominance or micromanaging others. It's about showing up with integrity, leading by example, and being comfortable in who you are. People are drawn to their quiet strength, gravitating toward their authentic presence. On the other hand, arrogance tries to manipulate and control. It demands obedience and seeks validation by putting others down. Arrogance is rooted in insecurity. It's a way to mask feelings of inadequacy by exerting power over others. Being in charge isn't about controlling people, but about inspiring them. A true leader doesn't create pressure. They lead through presence, showing others what's possible. When confidence shines, people follow naturally, not because they're told to, but because they respect and admire the example set. Leading with authenticity and clarity allows you to make a genuine impact. So Sigmas, here's the truth. The world needs your confidence, your quiet strength, your independence, your laser focus. But when that strength starts turning into stone, when the quiet becomes contempt, when boundaries become walls, you lose the very thing that made you powerful. Confidence uplifts. Arrogance isolates. The most Sigma thing you can do, stay rooted, stay aware, stay human. Sigmas, if you felt this message in your soul, hit that like button and smash that subscribe so you don't miss any more fire like this. Join the community where we elevate, reflect, and grow in true Sigma power. Apply these qualities in your life not to dominate, but to live with depth, purpose, and quiet strength. Stay true and stay Sigma. Welcome, kings of solitude. When you walk alone, it's not because you're lost. It's because you're led. There's a quiet power in your presence, a strength that doesn't need to shout. You've never followed the crowd or chased validation. You avoid small talk, protect your peace, and move to your own rhythm. Why? Because you're a Sigma male, independent, intuitive, and unshakable. Walking alone isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. While others cling to crowds, you've discovered clarity in solitude. You've sensed the fake smiles, felt the tension when betrayal lurked, and questioned whether being strong meant being exposed. Let me reassure you, it doesn't. You're not just guarded by instincts, but by something greater. A divine force shields you, removing people before they can drain you, revealing truths through gut feelings that are more providence than paranoia. Every rejection was redirection, every heartbreak a hidden blessing, every silent season sacred preparation. You're not invisible, you're covered, not forsaken but chosen, not alone, but divinely backed. Today we're diving into 7 powerful signs that a Sigma male is protected by God from evil individuals. And once we're through, you'll realize what looked like loss was love in disguise. Let's begin. Sign 1. Evil plans never prosper against you. Sigmas, let's break it down. Ever wonder why every scheme thrown your way falls apart before it even reaches you? That's not just luck. It's what I call divine deflection. People try to sabotage you. Maybe it's a coworker trying to make you look bad, a so-called friend spreading lies, or someone jealous trying to ruin your reputation. But every single time their plan collapses. Why? Because you're walking with a different energy. A true Sigma doesn't operate like the rest. You're not reacting emotionally or chasing revenge. Studies in psychology have shown that individuals with high emotional intelligence, like most Sigma males, tend to handle conflict by staying calm and thinking long-term. That calmness is power. While others are loud and messy, you're silent and strategic. That's when divine protection kicks in. Your silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You trust in timing. You believe in a higher order. And when you move like that, the universe, or God, moves with you. What they meant for harm only elevates you. You rise stronger, clearer, and more respected. So remember this. The fact that plots fall apart before they hit you is no accident. It's proof that you're covered, chosen, and moving with divine purpose. Sign 2. Your spirit disturbs their demons. Ever wondered why people you barely know act cold or even hostile toward you? Like you just showed up, didn't say a word, and somehow became a threat? That's not just awkward social energy, it's something deeper. It's spiritual. Sigma males, your presence radiates a kind of light that isn't loud but powerful. It's the light of truth, self-awareness, and inner strength. You walk into a room and your mere presence unsettles those who operate in deception, manipulation, or insecurity. Why? Because your authenticity threatens their illusions. Scientifically speaking, humans can subconsciously detect confidence and integrity through micro-expressions and energy cues. Studies in behavioral psychology show that people with unresolved guilt or shame often project hostility toward those who reflect what they're avoiding. Your clarity becomes a mirror to their confusion. And on a spiritual level, your light becomes a spotlight. God uses that light in you to expose hidden motives and bring what's in the dark into the open. That's why manipulative people, snakes, can't stay around you for long. They either reveal their true nature or get uncomfortable and disappear. So no, you're not imagining it. You're not the problem. You're the purifier. Keep shining. Sign 3. You keep escaping setups. Listen, bro, some of y'all have dodged more bullets than a Marvel superhero, and that's not just luck. That's divine redirection in action. Science might call it intuition or a gut instinct, but spiritually, it's God tuning your frequency to pick up on danger before it strikes. Studies show that the brain processes threats milliseconds before we consciously recognize them, what many call a sixth sense. Sigma males are especially wired for this. You're not the loudest in the room, but you're the most alert. You notice patterns, energy shifts, and subtle cues others overlook. That moment when your plans changed last minute and something terrible happened where you would have been. That wasn't coincidence. That was God rerouting you. You're not just surviving, you're being guided. You're walking proof that when you stay aligned and trust that inner pull, you avoid destruction. You're not lucky. You're led, and that's your superpower. Sign 4. You have a warrior's calm in chaos. When chaos strikes, when the world erupts in panic, blame, and noise, your calm presence stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. And here's the truth. That calm isn't just a personality trait, it's spiritual armor. Evil thrives in fear and confusion. It seeks to destabilize, to provoke, to control. But when you refuse to panic, when you remain collected, you rob fear of its power. That's why your peace is unsettling to those who dwell in darkness. Sigma males are wired to respond, not react. You observe, you assess, you strategize. And that stillness, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's what Philippians 4:7 talks about, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. That kind of peace silences chaos. It's more than emotional intelligence, it's divine composure. You weren't just built strong, you were built still. And people who manipulate through fear can't control someone grounded in faith. Your calm is power. Sign 5. You attract blessings, not battles. Sigmas don't chase the spotlight or seek validation. They live intentionally, authentically, and this powerful energy naturally attracts blessings. While others may scramble for attention and compete for success, Sigmas attract opportunities effortlessly. Their lives seem to overflow with favor, with doors opening unexpectedly and new possibilities presenting themselves at every turn. The secret? Sigmas live in alignment with their values and purpose. When you stay true to who you are, living with integrity and not compromising your principles, the universe or divine forces align in your favor. While people around you may envy or resent your rise, remember this. What God ordains, no amount of negativity or hatred can stop. For those who aren't on the same path, it might seem like your success comes without effort. But in reality, it's the result of a deep spiritual foundation. Your actions are guided by higher principles, and that's why you keep winning. This unshakable alignment with your true self allows you to thrive without needing approval or recognition from others. Ultimately, it's a life of peace and abundance that flows naturally because you're walking in your purpose. Sign 6. You're covered when others fall. Have you ever noticed how the people who tried to bring you down ended up sabotaging themselves? It's not just karma at play, it's consequence. When you're protected by God, you're not merely surviving life's challenges, you're being preserved through them. For many, the storms of life feel overwhelming. Scandals, lies, and manipulation can tear others apart. But for you, Sigmas, These same trials don't break you. They may try to knock you down, but they can't stop your progress. The people who tried to hurt you, they find that the games they played only backfire, and they end up paying the price for their own actions. This is because when you walk in truth, you walk in alignment with divine protection. You don't need to seek revenge or play the same games. Your path is made clear by God's guidance. You rise, not because you're perfect, but because you hold fast to truth and integrity. While others are stuck in drama, lies, and regret, you keep moving forward, focused on your own growth and purpose. So when life gets tough, remember, you're not just surviving, you're being preserved for something greater. Sign 7. You're on a mission, not a popularity contest. Here's the biggest sign you're protected. You're not trying to fit in. You're not building alliances, you're building legacies. This isn't just poetic, it's powerful. Sigma males, known for their independence and nonconformity, naturally walk a different path. But this isn't rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's a calling. It's about living with intentionality. Psychologically, people with strong internal motivation tend to resist peer pressure and groupthink. Instead of blending in, they lead from the shadows, often becoming innovators, creators, and pioneers. When your purpose comes from a higher source, when it's divinely inspired, you no longer crave validation from people. You start seeking alignment with your mission. That's when divine protection steps in. Studies in social psychology show that people who are clear on their values and goals are better at discerning toxic relationships. They're also more likely to make strategic life decisions. So when people walk away, don't panic. God might be clearing the stage for your real assignment. Those betrayals? They weren't failures, they were revelations. People who couldn't walk with your vision were never meant to carry it. Each lonely season was a lesson in strength and self-awareness. Every setback built resilience, every delay developed character, and yet you're still standing. Not broken, not bitter, but stronger, wiser, and more aligned than ever. That's not luck, that's divine protection in action. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to stand out, for a purpose far greater than yourself. So Sigmas, if you've seen these signs in your life, know this, it's not by chance, it's by design. You've been protected not because you're better, but because you're chosen. Chosen to walk a different path, to lead without noise, to influence without compromise. You are light in a dark world, and darkness cannot overcome you. Stay true, stay grounded. And never forget, your silence is loud, your presence is powerful, and your protection is divine. Sigmas, if this message resonated with you, then you already know this community is for you. Don't just watch, join us. Hit that like button, subscribe, and apply the Sigma mindset to your life for impactful living. Why does being true to yourself sometimes feel like standing alone on an invisible battlefield? Ever felt like you're fighting battles nobody else even sees? Welcome to the Sigma life. Imagine this. You walk into a crowded room and suddenly the air changes. Conversations pause. Eyes follow you, but mouths stay shut. Some people are curious, others are intimidated, a few are just plain confused. No drama, no attention-seeking, just pure silent power. You don't fit into any box society built, and honestly, you stopped trying a long time ago. Psychologists describe Sigma males as individuals who operate outside traditional social hierarchies, valuing independence, authenticity, and self-sufficiency. But behind that composed exterior and lone wolf lifestyle lies a reality most will never understand. It's a life filled with silent battles, decisions made without applause, sacrifices made without recognition, and values upheld without compromise. Studies show that people who live authentically often face social isolation, especially in environments that reward conformity over individuality. It's not just imagination, it's reality. Sigmas, today we're pulling back the curtain. Today we reveal the 11 dark realities every Sigma male faces but rarely explains. The world only sees the surface. It doesn't see the storm you navigate daily, the silent wars, the hidden truths, the sacrifices made for freedom. Let's dive deep, brothers. Number 1, true freedom comes with crushing loneliness. Being free is the ultimate dream, right? No bosses breathing down your neck, no fake friendships, no herd mentality, just you doing you. But here's the kicker. Freedom has a price. And that price is loneliness. And not the I'm bored, let me scroll through my phone kind of loneliness. It's the deep soul-level kind, the feeling that nobody truly you. You could be surrounded by a crowd and still feel like you're on an island. Psychologically, studies show that highly independent individuals, like Sigma males, often experience what's called existential loneliness, a profound sense of separation from others because of how uniquely they think and live. You crave your independence like oxygen, but deep down, there's a longing for someone who can walk beside you without trying to change you, mold you, or control you. Yet here's the truth. True companionship is rare because your soul is rare. You value authenticity, honesty, and freedom so deeply that only a few people will ever match your vibration. And that's okay. Throughout history, many great minds, Einstein, Tesla, even Da Vinci, embraced solitude because they understood. The price of genuine freedom is sometimes feeling like a lone wolf. But in that space, they created their greatest work, found their deepest peace, and lived lives of true authenticity. So remember, the loneliness you sometimes feel is not a punishment. It's proof that you are living life on your terms, and that's a trade worth making. Number 2, misunderstood by almost everyone. You know that awkward moment when people think they know you? Yeah, they don't. In today's world, people slap labels on others faster than a Black Friday sale. Oh, he's arrogant. Oh, he's shy. Oh, he's mysterious. Wrong, and wrong again. When it comes to Sigma males, society often misfires in its attempts to categorize them. Sigmas operate outside traditional social hierarchies. They don't crave attention like alphas, nor do they seek approval like betas. Instead, they move independently, fueled by internal goals rather than external validation. This can confuse people who rely heavily on group identity for their sense of belonging. You are not playing a role, they just can't decode you. Psychology calls this projection bias, the tendency for people to assume others think, feel, or behave as they do. When they encounter someone who doesn't mirror their expectations, they misinterpret it. A Sigma's quiet focus may seem like arrogance, his reserve may look like shyness, and his independence may feel like mystery, but really it's just authenticity. Explaining yourself? Pointless. Sigmas understand that you don't waste energy explaining a masterpiece to those still learning to color inside the lines. Your uniqueness is your strength, not something that needs validation. People will either appreciate it or misunderstand it, and either outcome has nothing to do with your value. Stay focused, stay independent, and let them keep guessing. Number 3, overthinking is both a blessing and a curse. Your brain is like a Formula One engine, high-powered, high-speed, and at times dangerously close to overheating. You don't just think, you overthink. Every move, every word, every consequence, it's a double-edged sword. Your ability to analyze every detail is why you often stay 5 steps ahead of everyone else. Research even shows that people with high analytical thinking skills often outperform others in leadership roles, innovation, and problem-solving. But there's a catch. That same razor-sharp mind can turn on you, especially when the world goes quiet at 2 a.m. One small thought snowballs into questioning your last conversation, your relationships, your career choices, and even your life purpose. This mental spiral is common among high achievers and deep thinkers. Neuroscientists have found that overthinkers tend to have heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex decision-making and social behavior. It's like having a supercomputer that occasionally glitches under too much pressure. Here's your motivation. Your mind is your sword. Sharpen it, train it, and control it. Use it to cut through challenges, not to stab yourself with endless self-doubt. Mastering your mind means learning when to shift gears, when to race and when to idle. After all, even the most powerful Formula One cars need pit stops to stay in the game. Number 4, independence creates invisible walls. You built your own kingdom, no reliance, no dependencies. You are the king and also the lone knight. In the world of social dynamics, this mirrors the essence of a Sigma male. Fiercely independent, self-sufficient, and entirely comfortable outside the traditional hierarchy. You crafted a life on your terms, answering to no one, relying on no one. This independence is a rare strength. Studies in social psychology show that self-reliant individuals often experience higher resilience and stronger problem-solving skills because they trust their instincts rather than seeking external validation. However, over time, your independence can start to look like an impenetrable fortress. To others, you might seem unapproachable, even intimidating. Research highlights that perceived social aloofness can reduce networking opportunities by up to 40%, not because of capability, but simply because people fear rejection. Friendships may struggle too, not because you lack warmth, but because your self-sufficiency masks it. You are not cold, you are careful. You protect your inner world like a knight defends a sacred realm. Sigmas, remember this. It is perfectly okay to open a door sometimes. Genuine opportunities, meaningful connections, and unexpected alliances can add richness to your journey. The key is balance. Open the door when it feels right, but keep your hand firmly on the handle, ready to shut it if anything threatens your peace. Your kingdom is still yours. You simply become a wise ruler, not a walled-off warrior. Number 5, people expect you to explain yourself constantly. Why don't you text back fast enough? Or why don't you hang out more? Why do you keep everything to yourself? Sound familiar? It's like people expect a constant broadcast of your every move, but here's the truth. You are wired differently. You are built for depth, not speed, for quality, not quantity. And explaining your inner peace to people who thrive on constant noise is like trying to stream a 4K movie on dial-up internet. It just doesn't work. Psychologically speaking, introverted and independent thinkers operate from a different neural pattern. Studies show that introverts have thicker gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain linked to deep thought and decision-making. You naturally crave solitude, introspection, and meaningful connections, not endless chatter. Trying to explain your peaceful nature to someone addicted to instant validation is draining. It's not your responsibility to translate your soul into a language they barely speak. Real connections don't demand explanations. They come with understanding built in. The right people will recognize your vibe without needing a user manual. So until you find your tribe, the ones who nod in silent agreement instead of questioning your every move, keep walking like you own the sidewalk. Your peace is not a problem to solve. It's your greatest power. Protect it. Number 6, success feels empty without purpose. You hit milestones others only dream about. Money, you've got it. Freedom, you've earned it. Skill sets, sharper than ever. But here's the twist. None of it truly satisfies without purpose. Without that inner compass pointing towards something greater, even success can feel like sand slipping through your fingers. It looks impressive on the outside, but inside, hollow, draining, pointless. That's because for a Sigma male, success isn't measured by external rewards. It's measured by depth. Sigma males are wired differently. Studies in psychology show that introverted, independent thinkers often derive fulfillment not from accolades, but from alignment with personal values and impact. While others are busy collecting trophies, Sigmas are building legacies. They don't chase titles, they chase transcendence. Transcendence, in this context, means rising above ego, societal pressure, and surface-level validation. It's about asking, what difference did I make? Sigmas want to leave fingerprints on the world that time can't erase. They build movements, inspire minds, and craft lives that echo beyond their own years. Purpose is what gives their power meaning. Money is just a tool. Freedom is a platform. Skills are the chisels. But purpose? That's the blueprint. Without it, the masterpiece remains incomplete. So if you're a Sigma who's climbed the mountain but feels no joy at the summit, it's time to look inward. You weren't made to just succeed, you were made to matter. What's driving your climb? Number 7, you are constantly battling your inner demons alone. Everyone has demons, fears, insecurities, traumas, but for Sigma males, those internal battles are fought in silence, without a crowd, without a crutch, and without applause. You handle pain like a seasoned warrior, not because you enjoy it, but because you understand that true strength isn't displayed, it's earned in the shadows. Unlike others who seek validation or lean on external support, Sigma males prefer solitude when facing their darkness. No therapy groups, no social media cries for help, no emotional spectacles. This isn't because you're emotionless, far from it. It's because your self-reliance is your therapy and your mind is your battlefield. Psychology backs this up. Studies show that introverted personality types, especially those with high independence and internal locus of control, often process trauma differently. You reflect deeply, strategize quietly, and act decisively. This level of emotional discipline doesn't make you cold, it makes you rare. In a world that overshares and overreacts, Sigmas conserve energy for the actual fight. You don't announce your pain, you conquer it. And the battles you fight, they're real. Internal wars like self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and existential questioning can be more brutal than physical ones because they don't leave visible scars, they leave lessons. Winning a battle no one knows you're fighting, that's a different kind of power. It's not about being a lone wolf for the sake of image, it's about being self-contained, mentally armored, and spiritually disciplined. Sigmas don't need validation because your reward is self-mastery. And that's the kind of strength that doesn't just impress others, it transforms you from the inside out. Number 8, vulnerability is harder than war. You could climb mountains, build empires, take hits like a champ, but opening your heart, trusting someone with your hidden self, that's a whole different battlefield. For the Sigma male, vulnerability isn't just uncomfortable. It's a calculated risk. These men aren't afraid of emotions. They just don't hand them out like party favors. Their hearts aren't locked up because they're fragile. No, they're locked because they're sacred. Psychologists define emotional vulnerability as the willingness to be open about one's feelings, fears, and flaws. For most, it's hard. But for Sigmas, men who live on the fringe of social hierarchies, self-reliant and emotionally self-contained, it's even harder. Why? Because vulnerability is more than emotional exposure. For them, its Sigmas don't wear their hearts on their sleeves. They wear armor built from experience, solitude, and deep introspection. Trust isn't given, it's. And not through flashy charm or surface-level connections, but through integrity, loyalty, and depth. In a world where oversharing is often confused with authenticity, Sigma males are strategic. They know not everyone deserves access to their inner world, and they're right. Studies show that misplaced trust can lead to betrayal, emotional manipulation, and long-term trauma. So when a Sigma opens up, it's not a slip. It's a decision, carefully weighed and deeply felt. So remember, vulnerability isn't about lowering your guard, it's about choosing who's worthy enough to see what lies behind it. The Sigma heart isn't weak, it's a fortress. And only a rare few are ever handed the key. Would you trust just anyone with your crown jewels? Neither would a Sigma. Number 9, your energy triggers people's insecurities. When you're a Sigma male, your mere presence seems to stir up reactions in others. It's not about what you say or do, it's the energy you carry. Sigma males exude a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be validated through words or actions. This stillness can make others feel uneasy, even though you're not actively trying to assert dominance or seek attention. For the betas, who often feel insecure or overlooked, your effortless sense of self-worth can feel like a challenge to their need for validation. They may get twitchy, trying to figure out how to compete for attention or recognition, but they can't figure you out. They sense that you're not concerned with the same social games they are. Alphas, who thrive on being at the top of the hierarchy, often feel defensive around a Sigma male. The Sigma doesn't play by their rules or seek their approval, which threatens their sense of control. Alphas can't easily manipulate or dominate you, and that creates friction. Then there are the fake friends, the ones who wear masks and compete for superficial approval. They get weirdly competitive when they realize you're not interested in competing. For them, it's uncomfortable because you're a reminder that validation and success don't require playing the same game they do. Simply put, your authentic self, your light, is often uncomfortable for those who are still stuck in the shadows of insecurity, validation, and competition. Number 10, love hits you deeper and harder. When a Sigma falls in love, it's not just a fleeting attraction or a casual connection, it's an intense, authentic, and deep commitment. Sigmas love with everything they have, pouring their entire heart and soul into the relationship. Unlike others who may entertain multiple options or dabble in the talking stage, a Sigma's affection is all or nothing. This level of love makes heartbreaks feel like a personal devastation. The pain of betrayal hits much harder because it's not something they take lightly. A Sigma's heart, once given, is given completely, and losing that trust or connection can take a long time to heal from. But here's the truth. When a Sigma does give his heart, it's a rare and precious gift. Few can say they've received such devotion. It's not something they offer often, and when they do, it's the deepest kind of love you can experience. Number 11, you are on a lifetime quest for self-mastery. Sigmas aren't driven by the need for external approval. They're focused on a journey of continuous self-evolution. They're constantly mastering their minds, sharpening their intellects, and refining their mental resilience. Physical strength isn't just about appearances for them, it's a reflection of discipline and endurance. Sigmas invest in their bodies because they understand their connection to personal power. On the spiritual side, they cultivate inner peace and higher awareness. Sigmas don't seek validation from others, nor do they conform to societal expectations. Their energy is spent on owning their own destiny, creating the future they desire, one decision at a time. This path isn't for everyone. It's steep, lonely, and relentless. But that's what makes it so transformative. The true key to a Sigma's journey isn't about reaching some unreachable standard of perfection. It's about consistent progress, even in the face of adversity, making each day a step forward. Sigmas, listen up. The world might never fully understand you, and that's okay. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand out. Sigmas don't follow the crowd. They pave their own path. Leading without asking permission and living without boundaries is your essence. Your independence is your strength, and your silence is your sanctuary. Embrace the solitude. It's a sign of your inner power. The challenges you face, they're not obstacles. They're evidence of the incredible light you carry within. Being a Sigma means thriving in the face of adversity, using your solitude to grow stronger. Sigmas, if this resonates with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and join this unstoppable community. Here, we don't just exist, we thrive. We don't follow, we lead. Live by Sigma principles and watch the world around you transform. Stay true, stay Sigma.